Should be good now. Should be good now. Should be good now. Should be good now. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Had to switch the mics on the OBS. So thank you guys for being here. What's going on, Born? What's going on, Rudy T? Thanks for popping in the stream. All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. Thank you to everybody for being here. Hope everybody out there is staying safe tonight. Obviously, we're still waiting for football. We're waiting for life to get back to normal. And I figured I'd come on here, hang out with you guys for a couple hours. Talk sports, talk whatever you guys want to talk about. Obviously, the NFL draft's now in like 2 weeks, and we're hearing more and more rumors. We're hearing about Tua. We're hearing about, all the rumors today. We'll talk about all of it. Any rumors you guys want to talk about, any draft-related questions, any football, anything-related questions, sports in general, please shout them out. And thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for being the best supporters on YouTube. What's going on, Yuri? Goldquan in the house. What's going on, Moose? Thanks for being here. Let's see what we got here. A new DT or a new OT? I mean, definitely a new OT. A new DT? Don't we have enough DTs on this team already? I mean, my God. The New York Giants at this point, they should rename their team to the New York Defensive Tackles. No, definitely a new offensive tackle over a defensive tackle for sure. What's going on, Justin Roman? Thanks for popping in. Afghanistan in the house. What's going on, my man? The man, the myth, the what's going on, Saquon? Thanks for being here. Yeah, new DT and I'll throw up. My God. Like, we don't got enough of those already. What's going on? Yeah, we have 21 defensive tackles. Oh, Danny Dimes, thanks so much, man, for the love. I really appreciate that. $2 donation. He says, hey, Giants fan. I appreciate that. Hey, Giants fan. Thanks for popping in, Danny Dimes. Hopefully you get your act together this year. You stop fumbling the football, and we'll be good to go. I liked what I saw, but you got to work on your pocket presence, Danny. Thank you for popping in, my man. We don't know. We definitely don't need another defensive tackle. Mets suck. Frank, man, thanks so much for the love, man. He says, yo, Mets suck. Just saying. Still love you, though. I love all you guys, too. And, unfortunately, I made a horrible decision as a child. I say it all the time. And I picked the wrong New York team, man. If I go back in time, I would have picked the New York Yankees. But unfortunately, I can't do that, Frank. But I appreciate the love. Thank you very much. It is not easy being a Mets fan. I say it all the time. It's probably the hardest team in all of sports to root for, being that you have to share a city with the 27-time world champion New York Yankees. But nothing but respect for your organization. Darryl Taylor is listen, man, I've been propping up Darryl Taylor now for weeks. Not weeks, probably about a week. When I did my research on the day 3 prospects at the edge rusher position, I'm a big fan. He's versatile. He fits what the New York Giants are looking to do. And he's got familiarity with the coaching staff. I think he's definitely a guy that the Giants could be taking at 99 if he's there. Now, if you go back and look at my mock draft, he never got to 99. Otherwise, I would have taken him. But if he is there, I do think he could be a day 2 prospect for the Giants to be looking at. Gokon says, go. What is going on? Bad Dog says, I say it all the time. You should join the Yankees. Yeah, I know. I know. Oh, man, Frank, thank you so much for the love, man. $2 donation. At least you didn't go Mets, Jets. It could have been a lot worse, right? I could have been a Mets and Jets fan. At least I got 2 Super Bowls out of my life, Frank. Yeah, no, usually that's the way it goes. It's Mets, Jets. It's Yankees, Giants. And like Bad Dog said, there's a bunch of people on YouTube. There's a bunch of people in my life that are Mets and Giants fans or Yankees and Jets fans. But obviously, traditionally, people usually go with the little brother, the Jets and the Mets. But yeah, man, I picked the Giants, so at least I made one right decision. Danny Dimes, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $5 donation. He says, I am a great quarterback. Just give me an offensive tackle and a defense. I don't have to carry. I'm with you, man. That's why I keep talking about getting the offensive tackle, fixing the offensive line. We also got to get you a center. And I was so happy to hear Jeffrey Abbey. Sometimes we lock horns a little bit. That's what I like about Jeffrey. But I saw him on Bad Dog's channel. He said he's completely for trading down and doubling up on the offensive line if they elect to do that. And obviously, in an ideal world, I've said it since the start of this entire draft process, I want to trade down and take the tackle, but if we can't find a partner, we can't find a partner. But ideally, I'd like to trade down to 6, to 7, to 9, and get the tackle because, like everybody says, there's 4 elite tackles in this year's class. Giants Wire came out with a great article today, and it basically just says everything that I said. You don't know when you're going to get another elite tackle class. Right now, the Giants are sitting early in the draft with an elite tackle class. It's why I'm so outspoken about at least keeping it on the table. You don't know what, everybody says wait another year. You don't know what tackle. I know there's one big tackle in next year's class, but you don't know. And they're sitting in a prime position with a really good tackle class. It's a tough decision, but Isaiah Simmons is certainly a stud, and I will not be upset either way. We definitely need help at both. Cruzon, man, thanks so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate it. Why don't fans want to develop DJ, Chris? You know what's funny, Cruzon? You know what's funny about DJ and developing DJ? I find it funny is the same people that are so outspoken for Daniel Jones they want to go defense. They don't want to help out Daniel Jones. That's what's kind of ironic to me because I'm kind of a guy that I like Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones is going to be a part of the future, but I'm kind of a little hesitant in praising Daniel Jones and going over the top. I'm trying to take it day by day, but even I want the offensive tackle. I think that you need to make sure that he's got a good foundation. But I think most Giant fans, Cruzon, want the offensive tackle. They just also want defense. And we haven't had a linebacker for quite some time, and we need a playmaker. So I think it goes both ways. Thank you so much, and we got time for the $2 donation. He says, what's up, Tana, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. I really appreciate it. And go over there and check him out. Chris, do you think about Simmons in the first round and then possibly Kenneth Murray in the second? Christian, to be completely, I mean, if you do that, yeah, but no, that doesn't make sense because then you're using your first 2 picks on the linebacker position. We already have Martinez. No, if they're going to draft a linebacker, you go somewhere else round 2. You go center, you go tackle, you even go safety if you want. But no, you can't double up on the linebacker. No way. No way, no how. No way about it. No doubt about it. Tana, you the man. I appreciate that. Scotty H, thanks for popping in, man. Murray would never drop to the second. No, he would probably never drop to the second round, bad dog. That would just be overkill at that point. If, like you said in your video, like I've said many times, if you're going to double up in a position, get the offensive line sorted out. Go trade down, get your tackle, get your center. Then we don't got to worry about drafting an offensive lineman in next year's class, and you shore up your quarterback. Abe, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. If we take Simmons, what type of D do we run? I mean, Abe Foreman, I think it's going to be the same D that we expect to run. You know, you go back, you look at Patrick Graham's film. Well, NFL Game Pass, everybody has it now, so you can look. I'm actually going to do a video on it soon. But you look at the defense that he uses, it's exactly what Joe Judge has expressed. You don't know on a game-to-game basis what we're going to be running. You don't know on a play-to-play basis what we're going to be running. They're going to fit the defense around that week's opponent. Depending on that opponent's strength is the type of formation they'll have out there, whether it's a 3-4-4-3, whatever it may be. I don't think Simmons coming here would change the type of defense that we plan on running. It would just actually improve it, being that we want to be versatile and show a lot of different looks. Oh, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate that. Frank with the $10 donation. He says, my buddy has a gaming center where people come play video games. He's closed for this BS, the virus, so he's just streaming simulated baseball games on MLB The Show. Maybe you could do that with football. What do you mean? Do you mean video? You mean like Madden, or do you mean old Giants games? I've expressed that in the past, but I'm worried about showing the game and getting my channel taken down. Some of my subscribers advise me not to do that. But if I'm allowed to do that, I would absolutely have watch parties of old Giants games like the 2011 NFC title game, the 2012 Super Bowl. I would definitely do that. I just don't want my channel to get strikes. But I actually had that idea like a month ago. I ran it by or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, ran it by my subscribers. But they basically said, you don't want to get strikes. You don't want to risk your channel. But if I'm allowed to do that, I would absolutely do that. Thank you for the love, man. I really appreciate it. Cruzon said this is the best offensive tackle class in the last 10 years. Yeah, Cruzon, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but I thought about it today, Cruzon. And one of the talking points about not taking a tackle for the Giants this year is that you can't decide which one's the best. And I guess it's a fair point, but my rebuttal to that is, okay, but did you ever stop and think that maybe the reason you can't differentiate which of the 4 is the best is because they're all very good? Everything we've heard about this tackle class is it's one of the best tackle classes in a very long time. And that is why I think a lot of people want to take the tackle. Just like back in 2018, a lot of people wanted to take the quarterback. Now, in 2018, people would have been wrong, or at least it appears that way right now. None of those quarterbacks look like unbelievable prospects outside of Lamar Jackson, who was never in the conversation. So, but I think that's why people are so outspoken for the tackle, and Isaiah Simmons is definitely in the discussion as well. But thanks so much for love. I really appreciate it. Nick Young with the $5 donation, man. Thanks for love, man. I really appreciate it. You see, he's doing it on Twitch and Facebook. Okay, Frank, you know what? I'll do it. You know, if I could figure it out, I don't have Twitch, and I've never streamed on Facebook, but I'd be open to that. I know I got to talk to Sim on Nothing But Knicks. I got his number. I'm going to text him because I know he's showing the games. I got to look into that because if I could show the games here, I would absolutely love to do that. If not, I don't have a following on Twitch, but I would do it. Absolutely. And Nick Young, man, thanks so much for the $5 donation. He says, you see the article on CBS saying the Giants are interested in trading for Unique Ngakoue. From what I saw, unless something's new, it was not, it was a mock draft. And maybe there's something new that came out. What I saw, there was a mock draft. I also read that Unique Ngakoue is potentially looking, he's talking about what teams he wants to go to, a winning culture, everything else. But just because somebody puts it in a mock draft doesn't mean any insiders are saying that that is what they think will happen. That's just a simulation. But I've talked about that in the past, trading down the 9, giving up the 4 pick, getting Unique Ngakoue. I did see I saw the mock. I don't know if there's an article you're referring to that came out after that. Thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. Danny Dimes, man, thanks so much. $5 donation. He says, in all seriousness, you have sold me on a tackle as our first pick, and I was the biggest Simmons guy ever. I mean, I'm not, I just give my opinion, and I'd be completely fine either way. I continue to express that. Tackle, Simmons, I'm fine either way. I think I have sound reasoning as to why I want to take the tackle. I think both are very good prospects. I think both would help this team. I think it's a 2 or 3 year fix. I think it's a supreme tackle class. And because it's a 2 or 3 year fix, I would sooner want to make sure my quarterback is safe and that I could block for Saquon Barkley. That's my reasoning. And I know people are going to debate that and have their own opinion, and that's great. That's what this channel's about. That's what Talking Sports is about. But like I've said all along, I'm not going to be upset at all if they take Isaiah Simmons. Thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. Let's see. We need to trade down, get Thomas and Ruiz. I would love to trade down, get Thomas and Ruiz. You get yourself a center, you get yourself a tackle. Well, 100%, man. That'd be great. Trading down with the Chargers would be dynamite if we could do that. You get the 37th to go along with the 36th. That then gives you the option to trade back up if a supreme prospect drops. You pair up 36 and 37. I would love to trade down. It's just a matter of if it's going to be possible. We'll get into Tua in a bit. I read some news on Tua. I didn't make a video on it. Maybe I'll do one tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see with that. And Jay Lathan, man, thanks so much for the $5 donation. I was a big Simmons advocate, still am, but an offensive tackle first round, then center, then safety will set us up for a Super Bowl within the decade. Listen, man, like I've said all along, I personally think, I just give you my thoughts, man, and you guys could think I'm wrong, you guys could think I'm right. That's what's great about sports. But I think I think my mindset and the people who want to take the tackles mindset is more long-term thinking. The people that want to take Simmons are people that want this team. I'll readily admit that taking Simmons is going to make this a better team more than likely next year. I think the tackle position takes a little time to adjust. You're still not going to have a complete offensive line more than likely. But I do think long-term, I want to fix that offensive line. And what better draft to do it, like Cruzon said, than a draft where you have the best tackle class in years. So that's the argument. That's my argument. Obviously, in an ideal world, I would trade down. PTA Sports, thank you so much, man, for the $5 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, what's up, Dana? You still owe me a guest spot. I'm still in the trade down vibe. You're definitely coming on. You're going to my Discord. I'm going to have you on this week. I'll have you on this week for sure. I'm going to have Lloyd on, but PTA is a YouTuber. I definitely want to have him on. I said I'd have him on. I want to have him on. Go into my Discord. I'll have you on this week, buddy. Thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. Frank Guzzi, man, thanks so much for the love, man. He says, I'm talking Madden. Twitch has rights for video games on their platform. They allow gamers to play any game. You can make roster changes and compare. That's something I'll have to look into. I have my PlayStation. I have not played it in a very long time, but I have played Madden on the channel in the past. I will look into it. I don't know if I'll have it up within a week or two, but a lot of people have asked me to do Madden, and maybe after the draft, I'll do Madden once a week or so and play with a subscriber, something like that. That's something I'll definitely look into. I appreciate the suggestion, Frank. Yeah, a lot of people have asked me to do that, do rebuilds, things like that, and I'll definitely look into it. Get Sal Licata back. Sal was a great guy, and I know, he didn't say everything I agreed with. I wasn't looking to fight with the guy. He was kind enough to come on my channel. I wasn't looking to debate with him. He took time out of his day to talk to me, so I really appreciated that. But Sal's a really good guy. I know a lot of people got on him for a Saquon Barkley take, and a lot of people got on him for the Gettleman take, and I definitely disagree with him on Gettleman. I'll be the first to say it. But you know what? I respect Sal because he's a guy that's not scared to share his opinion. And he might be a little loud. He's a New Yorker. But I thought we had a really good conversation. I had a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to having him back on the channel. He said he'd come on to talk baseball. Obviously, he's known for the Mets, so during baseball season. I'm looking forward to having him back on, maybe semi-regularly. So, and maybe after the draft we'll talk more football. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, MH. Let's see what we got here. Everyone's saying Becton is a bust, but no one said Eric Flowers was a bust. You know what? It's too early to say Becton's a bust. We haven't even seen him on the football field yet. I've been pretty outspoken of not being super pro Becton for the simple reason of everything you read about the guy, everything you hear about the guy, he's not the most technically skilled player. He doesn't extend the arms well enough, but he's big. He's an imposing force, so he's got a high ceiling, and the Giants, if they do draft him, might feel with the coaching staff, they could get the most out of him. A lot of people may argue that he has the highest ceiling because he hasn't hit his stride yet, I guess, in terms of being a technically skilled offensive lineman. I'm not a huge Becton guy. I think at 4, it's way too early. If you were to trade down to 12 with the Raiders, and then you get him there, I'm not going to cry about that. But at 4, I think it's too early. I wouldn't be shocked if the Giants do it, though. It's the type of offensive lineman that the Giants, I think, Gettleman would have interest in. So I wouldn't be shocked. Draft Tua and trade him to Miami. I think we get Simmons at the top 5 offensive tackle. What do you think? Bradley, I'm going to do a video on this tomorrow. I didn't have enough time today. There was an article, a tweet that came out. And I got to look more into it. I got to see, if it's legitimate. I don't want to post something that I think is bogus. But there was a tweet that came out about Tua and that he failed 2 teams' physicals. So if that's accurate, if that's true, that I think would hurt his draft stock. And a lot of people might think that is going to hurt the Giants' ability to trade down, but I could actually argue it could help it. And I think I said this in my last live stream because think about it. Let's just say the Lions stand pat. I think the Redskins are taking Young. Let's say the Redskins take Young. Let's say the Lions take Okudah. And let's say Tua is out of the picture. Nobody views Tua as a top 5 or 6 a top 5 or 6 pick rather. And Herbert's the only guy left that people think is great. Well, then you got 2 teams there with the Chargers and Dolphins threatening, they both need a quarterback. So being that actually, if this is accurate, and 2 is falling down draft charts, which I don't know, that could actually help, in my opinion, the Giants' chances of trading down because if the Lions stand pat, because there's less quarterbacks available for those 2 teams. That's the way I look at it. Herbert is a GOAT. I'm a fan of Herbert. Herbert reminds me of Daniel Jones. I've said that. I think he's got a little bit stronger of an arm, but he reminds me of Daniel Jones. Smart, tall, he can move around. I like Herbert. I think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. Yeah, Bad Dog just said it. Great minds think alike, Bad Dog. Bad Dog just said it. What's going on, Pumpkin? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. And what's going on, Steve Stark, the realtor? He says, coaching staff, Chris, this is our wild card. How many more wins do they get just because Judge is so much better than Shermer? If Judge says what he said. What's going on, Big Daddy? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Guillermo, what's going on, man? How you been, buddy? In terms of the coaching staff, I mean, it's too early to say how many wins are going to be added to the New York Giants based on the coaching staff. But I do think this is I do think it's a better coaching staff, but it's a tough schedule. A lot of it obviously is going to come down to health. It's going to come down to when we're playing certain teams. Are they healthy? Things like that. A lot of football has to do with luck. Let's be real. Obviously, you need the talent on the field. But the one thing I'll say about this team, they're going to be much better prepared, in my opinion. I think this team is going to be prepared. He's the type of guy, from everything you hear and everything you see, he's the type of guy that is very strict. He crosses all his T's. He dots all of his I's. And I do think the team will be very prepared. Whether or not that adds 4 or 5 wins, I can't tell you that. It's way too early. You still have a young, inexperienced team. You have a young, inexperienced head coach. I don't want people, I keep expressing this, I don't want people going into this season expecting 9 or 10 wins. Because if they only get 4 or 5, people are going to go crazy about Joe Judge. And I think you got to be fair. I think you got to give him some time. But I do think Joe Judge is going to get this team to where it needs to be. It might just take 2 or 3 years. Blue Jackets Talk, thanks for letting me a $5 donation. He says, what do you think about Burrow to the Bengals, Herbert to Miami, and Love to LA? I could honestly see that happening based off of Matt Miller's reports. Yeah. Okay. Burrow to the Bengals is a lock. That's been a lock for weeks. In my opinion, Herbert to Miami makes a lot of sense, and I think Miami might have to trade up unless Love really skyrockets up draft charts. I like Love. I've said that. I think Love could easily be the best quarterback in this year's class. Of course, people are going to point to his collegiate statistics. He regressed last year, but a lot of people point to the offensive line. I like all those quarterbacks, and it's possible But the other thing, the Chargers, maybe they wait. Maybe they wait till the second round to take their quarterback. They could say we'll roll with Tyrod Taylor for a year. Nothing's set in stone. If I was the Chargers, I would take a quarterback because you don't know when you're going to be picking that early again. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But yeah, Love's certainly a possibility that early. Don't even be surprised if Love goes to Miami. You don't know. You don't know. But thanks for the love, man. Let's see what we got here. Love it. No, I agree with that. Love is a project, but he's a project if he hits, I think could be really good. I agree with that. Do I like Jalen Hurts? I think Jalen Hurts could be good. I think he could be more like a Taysom Hill type prospect where we don't, who knows though? Because people said the same thing about Lamar Jackson. Look where he is now. So if you build the right offense around him, now he's not Lamar Jackson, but I don't want him not as my starting quarterback. Let's put it that way. But I think he'll go in the third or fourth round, Jalen Hurts. Legend Smith, man, that was nice of you to come in and say STFU. That's a good job by you. He won't be in here much longer. Should we sign Clowney with the extra cap space and then trade Yannick? I feel like Kyler Fackrell can be an X factor this season. Should we sign? I wouldn't have been. The only way you're signing Clowney is if you get rid of the tag on Leonard Williams. That's the only way Clowney's coming here. Right now they have $17 million in cap. Last I saw. That was after a couple of small signings after the fact when they made the changes or whatever you want to call it to the salary cap. That's not enough. You're still going to want money for in-season moves. So the only way you'd be able to bring in Clowney at this point in time, you'd have to rescind the tag on Leonard Williams. And I don't see them doing that. Honestly, I know people have talked about it as a possibility, and it is possible. He did it with Norman in Carolina, but I don't see it happening, to be completely honest with you. Let's see what we got here. Clowney would only be a 1-year signing, by the way. It wouldn't be like a 4 or 5 year signing. What's going on, the Bears TV? How do the Giants fans feel about Leonard Williams' great almost sack production? Oh, Guillermo. Guillermo's a Jets fan, trolling us a little bit. I know Jets fans were ecstatic when they were able to trade Leonard Williams to the New York Giants. I think Giants fans like Leonard Williams as a player. He did have a positive impact with the Giants the last half of the year. Where they don't like is, the fact that we had to trade for him. That's what I think. That's the problem that Giants fans have with Leo Williams. It's more to do with the trade than the player himself. I think Leonard Williams is a solid player. I just don't think he was worth the trade, and I don't think he's worth the franchise tag. Let's see what we got here. Gettleman is average at best. That's fair. I mean, I can't say he's great at this point in time. He's had some hits. He's had some misses. But I always say I think he inherited a really bad situation. But I'll say this. That's a fair evaluation. For people that say that Gettleman does no right, that's not a fair evaluation. If you're being completely fair and unbiased, be fair. I try to be fair. I like some of the things Gettleman's done, and I dislike some of the things he's done. But I would say in my opinion, he's a slightly above average GM based on what he inherited. You got to factor that in. A lot of people don't factor that in. He's made a lot of bad decisions, though. I will not defend him on Leo Williams. I will not defend him on Alec Ogletree. The Alec Ogletree trade, it was dumb. And I know he didn't give up much in terms of draft picks, but he took on a $12 million contract for a middle linebacker. That's a lot of money. So I can't defend him on everything the guy does. Shout out from UK Big Blue. Thanks for popping in, Josh Lee. Trade up to the number 1 to get Chase Young at number 4. The Bengals will get Burrow. I don't think we're getting Chase Young. I know a lot of Giants fans want to talk about that. I know a lot of Giants fans want to. I don't see it. I honestly don't see us getting Chase Young. Matter of fact, I read an article today that the Giants haven't even talked to Chase Young. It's like they don't even view it as a realistic possibility. And nobody outside of the top 2 or 3 picks, I think it was, have interviewed him. I don't think Chase Young's getting to the Giants. You could hope, you could pray. Anything could happen on draft night, but don't bank on it. Let's see what we got here. Draft a cornerback. No, we're not drafting a cornerback. We just signed James Bradbury. We're not drafting a cornerback. We just signed James Bradbury. We drafted DeAndre Baker in the first last year. We got Sam Beal. Not happening. I was in favor of potentially taking Okuda. It wasn't my favorite pick, but I wouldn't have cried about it before they signed Bradbury. But once they signed Bradbury, to me, at this point, you ignore the corner position till at least round 4. Maybe you get yourself some slot corner, something like that. But no, I'm not taking a corner in the first 3 rounds, for sure. What if Okuda goes second? like I said, you could dream. You could dream. If you could, now would you have picked Chubb or Nelson over Barkley? Well, I'm not taking Chubb. Oh, you mean the pass rusher? If I go back in time, Saquon Barkley's my favorite player, and I'm never gonna cry about that pick. I think he's the best player on the team. I think he's a leader. I'm happy Barkley's a Giant. But if I go back in time, if theoretically there was a trade on the table, which there are rumors that there were, but at the end of the day, they're rumors, they're not facts. But if it is true that there were trades on the table, yeah, I would have liked if the Giants traded down to 5 and gotten Chubb or Nelson and gotten assets with it. Yeah. But you can't go back in time. You got to roll with what we got. We've got a running back that is a big-time playmaker, and we got to get him an offensive line so he can get the job done. Let's see what we got here. Answer this. Do you think we can finesse the Finns like the 49ers finessed the Bears? Do I think we could finesse the Finns? I mean, you're talking about how they jumped up one spot. At the end of the day, though, if you go back and look at that trade, the Bears didn't give up that much. I think they gave up, I know it was only one spot, but I think they gave up like a third and a fourth or something like that. They didn't do anything crazy. I mean, yeah, it's possible. Like I said, in that scenario, if there's only one quarterback that these teams love and the Dolphins are scared that the Chargers might jump up to get him, maybe the Dolphins do secure it if they give up a small package. They're not going to give you another first-round pick, but they might give you a second. You know, I think they got 2 seconds. Maybe they give you their second. I don't think you're going to get a king's ransom from the Dolphins. I could be wrong, but I don't think you will. What's going on, Tristan? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. Found your channel a couple nights ago during the mock draft. Love the channel. I appreciate that, MC Tushy. I like that. I appreciate your name. Love the name, MC Tushy. Welcome to the channel, man. I appreciate you being here. And yeah, I try to do at least like 2 or 3 live streams a week now with everything going on, and a lot of daily videos. I'll definitely have a couple more up tomorrow. And yeah, I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you very much. Let's see what we got here. If we get an offensive tackle, do we move Solder to the right tackle? I know people have talked about that in the past, shifting Solder over to the right tackle. I personally think, what's up, ACG, man? Thanks for popping in. I personally think that they would leave Solder at the left tackle right now for this year, especially when you factor in that even though Solder hasn't gotten the job done, there's familiarity there. Hernandez has played alongside of him. You don't want to break that up. I think they'll leave it as is. I think Solder will stay on the left side this year. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. If they take Andrew Thomas, Thomas would probably play on the left side this year. You'd probably shift Solder over. If you took Wills, I think Wills starts on the right side. I think Wirf starts on the right side. I think Wills starts on the right side. Thomas might start on the left. You might shift Solder if you took Andrew Thomas. But I doubt it. I think he stays at left tackle for 1 more year. Let's see what we got here. Or all 4 top offensive tackle prospects, long-term LTs at the next level. No, I do not think they are. I don't. Most people think that Wirfs is a right tackle or a guard. Wills, we hope, would be a left tackle if we drafted him, but a lot of people seem to think he would be a right tackle, so there's no concrete evidence there. There's 2 players that project to be a left tackle at the next level, and that's Becton and Thomas. And Wills, some people think he can, some people think he can't. Some people think Wirfs could be a left tackle, but most people think he's going to be either a right tackle or a guard. I don't think all 4 definitive left tackle prospects at the next level. Let's see what we got here. Could the Giants take Simmons in the first and Cleveland in the second? Yeah, that's possible. Ezra Cleveland. I'm not the biggest fan of Ezra Cleveland, to be completely honest with you. I know he's like super athletic, Guillermo, but I'm not the biggest fan of Ezra Cleveland. I don't want him in the second. I would sooner go with a center over someone like that and wait till the following draft, I suppose, to get my tackle and just roll with what we got, whether it's Nick Gates or whoever, or Fleming, rather. So I think I'd go with the center in that scenario. I wouldn't take Ezra Cleveland. But, yeah, it's possible for sure. We could hope next year we get Ngakoue if someone does not snag him through the draft. Yeah, I'm still holding firm on my belief with Yannick. I had a subscriber get at me because I didn't pronounce his name right. Yannick. I think that I think Yannick's going to be traded this year. I do. I think he's going to be tagged and traded. I've thought that for weeks. The Jaguars have completely sold that team. I don't think Yannick will be available next year. Now maybe he plays out on the franchise tag and hits the open market next year. I suppose that's possible, but I would think if a team's trading for him, they're going to sign him to a long-term extension. Free Julian Love, yeah. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, no, I definitely think he's going to get traded. Lions to take Simmons. I mean, if he's there, they'll take Simmons. You know, I still think Simmons is going to be a Redskin. I honestly don't know why people don't think that's going to happen. You know, he's from the area. They need it. I mean, it might not be their biggest need, but you have a supreme edge rusher there. I think they're taking Chase Young. And if he does, and yes, I think the Lions would take him if he was there, but I still think Chase Young is going to be a Redskin. Let's see what we got here. Chris, how you doing, boss? Hope all is well. Hakeem, man, thanks for popping in the stream, man. Hope all is well with you too, man. Answer this: Ruiz or Delpit at 36? Ruiz. No doubt about it. And I like Delpit a lot, but Ruiz is the best center in this year's draft. Center is a huge need for this team. I don't even think twice. If Ruiz is there, I'm more than likely taking him at 36. I don't think he's going to be there at the end of the day. I think he goes back into the first round. Oh, Frank, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. It's very possible for Young to be on the board. Skins could go quarterback. Fish could trade up. Very possible Patriots are sleepers. Trade big with 7 picks. I'm not saying it's impossible. I would get... Okay, I will say there is a 15% chance that the Redskins don't take Chase Young. I'll say that. I'll agree with that. I'll say 15% chance, whether it's that they trade down or they take Tua. Now, so that gives us a 15% chance. And then, if you ask me the Lions, I would say there's got to be at least a 60 to 70% chance the Lions would take him. So, if I'm being completely fair, I'll give the Giants a 6 to 7, maybe a 5, 6, 7% chance that we get Chase Young. But I'm just trying to be realistic. I'm not really viewing him as a realistic possibility. I'm praying. I would love Chase Young, but I'm not banking on it. But I hope, man. I hope. Thanks for the love. Cruz on, man. I really appreciate it, man. $5 donation. He says, I hate when fans are not realistic. Why would the Dolphins give up a first-round pick to move up one spot? Giants fans make no sense sometimes. Cruz on, you know what? We love our team, and I agree with you. The Dolphins are not going to give up a first-round pick to move up from 5 to 4. The Chargers would give up an early second, I think, to move from 6 to 4. The Dolphins, the most you're getting is their first second-round pick. I don't even think you're getting that. You're probably getting their second-round pick, somewhere along those lines. But at the end of the day, you take whatever you could get. You're still getting the same player at 5 as you're getting at 4. It only makes sense to make that trade down. Let's see. Oh, man, thank you so much, Kyle, man. Kyle's a great subscriber of mine. Thank you so much for the love, man. Was going to buy a Dallas shirt for... I was going to buy a Dallas shirt for toilet paper, but scared it will give me gonorrhea or something, you know? So O-line or linebacker or defensive end, no matter what, we win, baby. Yeah, I ran out of Dallas jerseys for toilet paper. I was using that during this whole thing, but now I had to start buying Eagles jerseys. But as far as to me, if you end up with Simmons, an offensive tackle, or, Chase Young, which I don't want to get people's hopes up, but if we end up with any one of those scenarios outside of Becton, I personally don't want Becton at 4, but if we end up with any of the other 3 offensive tackles, Simmons or Chase Young, there's no reason to be upset on draft night. And even if we take Becton, you hope the coaching staff's right at the end of the day, because I think the coaching staff has as much to do with this selection as Dave Gettleman. But I don't think they're taking Becton. Mark, thanks so much for love, man. I really appreciate it. $2 donation. He says, CBS mocked us at 9, taking Becton and Simmons 10. So you're saying CBS had us dropping down with the Jaguars, getting 9 and 20, taking Becton over Simmons, and Simmons going 10th? Anything's possible. One of my subscribers was saying in the Discord today they wouldn't be shocked if Simmons dropped outside of the top 10 if the Giants passed on him. And when you look at the draft board, depending on the quarterback situation, if he doesn't go to the Dolphins or the Chargers, I still think he goes to Carolina at 7. I do. And if he got by Carolina, then maybe he could fall to 10 or 11 or even 12, because the Jets would probably take a tackle or a receiver. But I still think he doesn't get past 7 with Carolina. I think Carolina obviously needs a running back. They lost Luke Kuechly. I would think he would go there. But thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. Offensive line coach from Dallas. I don't know if you're talking to me or somebody else, but I love Mark Colombo. Mark Colombo is one of my favorite hires, the New York Giants this year. Hal Hunter sucked. He was horrible as the New York Giants offensive line coach year after year. I'm a big fan of bringing in Mark Colombo. Let's see what we got here. What if they take AJ at 4, just like how Raiders took... Oh, 8... No, what, AJ Epinesa? If they take AJ Epinesa, I am not going to be happy. Now, I heard a rumor that Kayvon Chason is potentially going to the Giants. One of my subscribers told me that. I think that's far-fetched. That's crazy. At number 4, I would never see that happening, but I would see him before AJ Epinesa. But I don't expect that. But at the end of the day, with Dave Gettleman, you never know. You never know. But I'm still saying it's going to be Simmons or a tackle. What's going on, Johnny T? Thanks for popping in the stream. He says, Tana, I'm falling more and more in love with Chason. In my opinion, if Young is Clowney, then Chason is Von Miller. Assuming Dave Gettleman can't... as soon as I bring up Chason, I see a comment in the chat about him. Assuming Dave Gettleman can't find a trade partner, would you be shocked if they took him at 4? Yes, I would be shocked if they took him at 4. I like Kayvon Chason. I think he fits our scheme. I would not be opposed to getting him at 12 if we traded down with the Raiders. But at 4, it's too early, man. I do like him, though. I think he's the second best pass rusher in this year's draft, but it's a huge drop-off after Chase Young. Let's see what we got here. Thoughts on Kenneth Murray? Absolute beast. Take him over. Well, Kenneth Murray's more of a traditional linebacker. I like Kenneth Murray a lot. Great side-to-side quickness. Athletic playmaker out of Oklahoma. Yeah, same thing there. I'm not taking him at 4, but if I could trade down and I get him at like 12, it's a possibility. 9 and 20, you get him at 20 or 19. I think that's where he should be going. But I do like him. Yeah, I think he's the second best linebacker. Let's see what we got here. Bobby Wagner's a beast. What's going on, Brooklyn Hit Squad? Thanks for popping. Thank you to everybody for being here, by the way. So I got 312 people in the chat. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for being here. Hope everybody is... My coffee's getting cold. It always does. Always gets cold. But I hope everybody's staying safe tonight. And thank you for coming in, talking sports with me, talking Giants football. Appreciate all the love, all the support. And let me get a sip of coffee. Let's go. Let's see what we got here. Murray is a leader as well. I like Murray, man. Chris, if you had to root for a divisional opponent, who would it be? Oh, God. I'd pick the Redskins. Definitely would pick the Redskins. Now, to be fair, throughout my life, other than when I was a very little child, the Redskins have not been that good of a football team, so that may have something to do with my lack of hatred for the Redskins as opposed to the Eagles or the Cowboys. But I've never really had a hatred. I mean, they're a division rival, but of the other 3 teams, to me, the Redskins are far and away the easiest team to root for, as opposed to the Eagles and the Cowboys. We need a Brilly type saying for the always ice cold coffee, Jersey. What's up, Jersey Joe? I really want New Jerseys next year. Yeah, King, a lot of people talking about the New Jersey thing. People have asked me to do a video on that. I don't know if I have the creative mind to come up with a New Jersey theme for the New York Giants. But that's something that people have asked me to do. It's something I might do after the draft in the offseason, talk about what alterations they could make to improve their jersey. Me personally, I love the Color Rush jerseys. I think they're beautiful. I love them. And I don't mind the blue jerseys. I don't know. I like old-fashioned, man. I like old school. Tana, would you ever consider making a big board for the draft? What do you mean big board for the draft? You mean like during the live stream? What do you mean? The Color Rush and the blue throwbacks are insane. I love the Color Rush. Hey, Chris, do you think the Jags would be willing to take Dalvin Tomlinson and are second for their late first, or is that unrealistic? So you're trading the second, you're trading 36 and Dalvin Tomlinson who would fill in for Darius. Yeah, I don't think it would get it done. I don't think it would get it done. I mean, that's the 20th pick is still an incredibly valuable pick. That is a huge jump from 36 to 20. As much as I like Dalvin Tomlinson, he's also approaching the end of his rookie contract. Teams are aware of that. He's a nose tackle, too, at the end of the day. I like Dalvin Tomlinson, but no, I don't think that's enough. But it's good out-of-the-box thinking. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Would you like if the Giants choose Simmons and traded back up in the draft for a lineman or receiver? I'd be completely for trading back up for the lineman, the offensive tackle, 100%. If it was the right one, you know, if you could trade up into the top 18 or 20 and still end up with Tristan Wirfs or Jedrick Wills or Andrew Thomas, which I don't think is going to happen, but if you were able to do that and then end up with Isaiah Simmons, absolutely. We're all ecstatic on draft night. You get your linebacker, you get your tackle. He says, you're crazy. 36 and Tomlinson gets it done for 20. I honestly do not think so. You call me crazy. I do not think so. I don't think Dalvin, and as much as I like Dalvin Tomlinson, defensive nose tackles, you can find them in the 4th or 5th round of drafts, and Dalvin Tomlinson is going to be a free agent after this year. So how much trade value does he really have? I actually disagree with that. I don't think we would get the 20th pick for 36 and Dalvin Tomlinson. Jeremy Shockey is a GOAT. I disagree, but I did like Jeremy Shockey. We need a slot corner bad. Do you want to bring in Logan Ryan to fill the position or in the draft? I wouldn't be opposed to bringing in Logan Ryan. A lot of people brought that up to me. I know he's still a free agent. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it probably would have happened already, but I wouldn't be opposed to that. And you could do one of two things. You could find a free safety and move Love to the slot. But yeah, I definitely think we need another piece in that secondary for sure. I think it'll be handled in the draft. I don't think they'll bring in Logan Ryan. Chris, what is your dream draft scenario in the first round? My dream draft scenario in the first round, we trade down from... we trade down with the Jaguars, which is not going to happen. I don't view it as very realistic, but you're talking dreams. My dream scenario is we trade down from 4 and we get 9 and 20. We end up with Jedrick Wills at 9. He falls to us. And then at 20, we get Kayvon Chaisson. That's my dream scenario. And then you get Ruiz at 36. We're talking dreams. I get my best tackle. I get my defensive playmaker at 20. And I get, whether it's Kenneth Murray or Kayvon Chaisson. And I get the top center in this year's draft. That's my dream. Hakeem, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. $10 donation. He says, seems like Wills, Wirfs, and Thomas are undeniably the top 3 tackle prospects. All great players, and we would welcome any of them to wear blue. But you can only draft one guy. Who's the guy, Chris? Hakeem, when I've done my mock drafts in the past, I have picked Wirfs to the Giants. That had everything to do with what I think the Giants are going to do, not what I would do. When I do the mock drafts, I want people to understand that. These are not who I would pick. This is what I think is going to happen. And the Giants have been linked to Wirfs for quite some time, and I'm not even off that bandwagon yet. I definitely think they could still take Wirfs. Based on the film I've watched, based on the things I've read, it's a very tough decision. I think Andrew Thomas is definitely getting overlooked. I know Big Daddy is in here. He is a huge Andrew Thomas guy. I am slightly leaning Jedrick Wills from the things that I've heard. I would lean Jedrick Wills. That's who I had mocked to the Giants the first mock draft I did. I think he's my offensive tackle preference right now. The only question with him to me is that he's a right tackle. In college, of course, he was the blindside protector for Tua. But, I mean, all 3 of those guys are really good prospects. But I would take Jedrick Wills. Blue Jackets Talk, thanks for love, man. He says, what team do you think could make a shocking pick? If we're talking early in the draft, I mean, I think the Giants are definitely a team that could. We hope they don't. I think the first 3 are status quo. Unless you view Tua as a shocking pick, I guess there's a slight chance the Redskins could do that. I think the Lions are either going to take Okudah. I guess a slight chance they take Simmons, even though they added Jamie Collins. I don't really think they're going to do that, or they could trade down. So I don't really view the top 3 as being shocking. I think the first team that could make a shocking pick is the Giants. After that, I would maybe Arizona. I mean, Arizona definitely swings by the seat of their pants over there. Who knows? I think they should go tackle, but maybe they do something shocking. But I would say the Giants are the most realistic team, if I'm being completely honest, that could make a shocking pick. Hopefully they don't. And we got time. Thanks for the love, man. Round 1, Thomas. Round 2, Ruiz. Round 3, Claypool. I'd be happy with that. You end up getting your tackle, your center. I'd be happy with that. And I know you love Claypool, and we got time. I know a lot of people love Claypool. Thanks for the love, man. What's going on, Kashendra Ramrop? Thanks for popping in the stream. If you guys have not checked out the hub, go and do that. By the way. Love having him on the working with him, so definitely want to do that again. Thanks for coming in, man. Chris, if you need a slot corner, the Chargers are shopping Desmond King, one of the best nickel corners. He's also a kick returner that excels in special teams. What's the price, Sinor? What's the price? But yeah, we could definitely use a slot corner. Slot corners are very valuable for sure. We definitely could use a slot corner. What's going on, Ms. Rahi? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. He says, word is Skins falling in love with Thomas. Chase to the Giants. Keep praying, guys. Keep praying. Even if we don't get Chase Young, let's at least hope that the Redskins don't. I don't want to have to block that guy for the next 5, 6, 7 years. I don't want to do that. So Even if we don't end up with Chase Young, let's hope the Redskins don't. Let's see what we got here. How mad would you be if we drafted 2 at 4? No, I'd be mad. That would make me very mad. I would not be happy about that. I know there's some people that would love it, but I would not be one of those people. I know Jeffrey Abbey, for example, I know he's not the fondest guy of number 8. But I would not be happy about taking a quarterback. Let's see what we got here. Our defense is going to be bad, but we need to protect Jones and Barkley. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what I've basically said this entire time. We need to protect the house. We need to protect our quarterback. We need to open up holes for Saquon Barkley. Now, whether or not the New York Giants think they could do that with what they've got, maybe some people can make that argument. Maybe some people legitimately feel like if we take a center at 36, that Gates or Fleming could get the job done with Solder on the other side. I don't. I've seen enough. I don't. I'm sick of Band-Aids on the offensive line. I just am. I'm sick of it. And I view this draft as an opportunity to draft an elite tackle prospect. We've had Band-Aids after Band-Aids after Band-Aids. And it hasn't worked for a decade. You know, we've had one of the worst ranked offensive lines for a decade. It ruined the second half of Eli Manning's career. So that's my mindset on it. We definitely need a pass rush. We need a pass rush. We need a cover. We need a lot. We need like 8 pieces. Let's see what we got here. We do have Sam Beal. Sam Beal can't stay on the field, but if he could play, maybe he could play the slot. Let's see what we got here. Chris, who is the best center? I would say Ruiz at this point. Ruiz had a killer combine. Some people could argue. There's a couple of guys, Cushenberry, Biadish. There's a couple of other guys. Hennessy's another one, but I think Ruiz is the pretty close to the consensus number 1 center prospect in this year's draft. Are we bringing back Marcus Golden? I honestly don't think so. I honestly don't think we're bringing back Marcus Golden. I would be surprised. I honestly don't think we're bringing back Marcus Golden. He doesn't fit the scheme, man. I've been saying that since before the offseason started. I don't mind bringing him back for $6 to $7 or $8 million, which is what people are saying he might go for. It's kind of weird that nobody signed him yet, though. I will say that. Would you rather sign a pass rusher or trade for Anthony Harris? Good question. You know, I made the video on Anthony Harris yesterday, Sutherland. Obviously, the rumors have resurfaced with him. The safety out of Minnesota. Led the league in interceptions last year. To me, it depends on the price. It depends on the contract extension that it would cost to keep him. And what did you say? Sign an edge rusher? I'd rather sign a pass rusher than trade for Harris. Yeah, I'd rather sign. Well, at this point, who are you getting? You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're talking about next year. At this point, you're not. Unless it's Clowney, who are you getting? But if the option was Clowney on a 1-year deal or trade picks for Harris, I would take Clowney on a 1-year deal. Blue Jackets, thanks so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, what surprise player do you think could go top 10? Do you view Jordan Love as a surprise? I could see Love going top 10. I could see maybe C.J. Henderson. He's probably the consensus number 2 corner. Maybe there's a hungry corner team there that maybe a little bit of a surprise. Maybe someone like that. Caleb on Chason would be a surprise in the top 10. Those are some guys I could see. If you would view any of the top 4 tackles being a surprise, I could see any one of them being in the top 10. Yeah, I don't think there's any. Maybe a linebacker, maybe Murray. But I don't think there's any huge surprises. We need to get Jerry Jeudy, not where we're picking. Not at number 4. Now, if we trade down, like I said in that one video with the Raiders at 12 and 19, I'm not going to be upset if they took him at 12, but not where we're currently picking. We can't take Jerry Jeudy. Let's see what we got here. We have never invested early in tackles, even back in 07. We somehow made it to the Super Bowl with 3 guys that were free agents. We need a top tackle. Yeah, I mean, to the credit of that team, you're absolutely right. I mean, there were no very early first-round picks. You're absolutely right about that. You know, I think we had a couple of guys that were, I don't remember, maybe one of them was I don't think any, there were 2 or 3 free agents, like you said. They were just a really good unit altogether, and if they could do that, great. But I don't want to play around, man. It's too important. We got to fix that offensive line at all costs. Abe, thanks so much for the $5 donation. He says, Simmons and Ruiz or a left tackle and best defensive player. Okay, left tackle, we'll just say the left tackle's Jedrick Wills. So Jedrick Wills and the best defensive player at 36. let's say the best defensive player at 36 is either Bourne, Matos, Delpit, or Winfield. One of those 4 players. So a combination of one of those 4 defensive players and Wills or Isaiah Simmons and the center, Ruiz. It's a really good question, Abe, if I'm being completely honest with you. The thing is, I don't know if the best center is going to be there. But if you told me before the draft Ruiz is going to be there and you get Simmons, it's tough. It is a tough decision. It's very close. I still am slightly leaning left tackle, though, if I'm being completely honest. But I think it's very close. I think it's incredibly close. I would not be upset either way. If we end up with Simmons and Ruiz, I'm going to be very happy on draft night. If we end up with Wills and Bourne or Wills and Matos or named defensive player here, I'll be very happy on draft night as well. I think both are very good options. I would slightly lean towards the tackle, though. Thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. $2 donation from Joseph Clark. He says, 3 years of top 6 picks without a defensive stud would be sad. I get it. And that's a common argument Giants fans bring up. They want to go defense. I completely get it. We've gone offense with a lot of these first-round picks, although we had 3 first-round picks last year. 2 of them were defense, but our first pick was offense. I get it. I definitely get it, and we don't have a lot of money invested in the defense right now, being that our highest-paid players, because we signed Nate Solder to that mega deal. We traded for Kevin Zeitler. Our highest-paid players on the offensive end, so a lot of our money is not invested on the defense. Now, we definitely signed some free agents to kind of even that out now, but I get it. I definitely get it, and I definitely would be for adding an impact defensive player as well. Jay Late, thanks for the love, man. He says, Becton is an Eric Flowers rerun, don't draft. I think he could be really good, or he could be. I think he's too much of a risk at 4, like I've said. If you get him in the mid-first round by trading down, go ahead, but not at number 4. I think he's too much of a project. I agree with you. Thanks for love, man. I appreciate it. Are we really about to go into the season with $20 million? Yeah, last I checked, Kashendra, it's 17. We'll see. Maybe they make a trade. Maybe they make a trade on draft night. I don't know. That's a good question. Who knows? I wouldn't be shocked if they. Who knows? They could still sign a couple of small pieces. Cruz on, man. Thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate that, man. $2 donation, man. I appreciate the love. My hog molly brother over there. Thanks for the love, man. I appreciate that moves. And Jake, man, thanks for the love, man. $5 donation. He says, sorry I've been quiet in the offseason. Still watching the vids. Your original take is correct. Offense or defense, draft the right player. Jake, man, I really appreciate that, man. Yeah, and that was a video, like I always say, Jake, and that was one of my favorite videos I made. I get a lot of my video ideas from you guys. The video I did today was from you guys. Constantly in my live streams, whenever I make a video about Evan Ingram, should we make him a wide receiver? So I said, yeah, I'm going to make a video on it. And it was the same thing with that video, where I broke down whether or not they should go offense or defense. And at the end of the day, Jake, we need to fix both if the New York Giants are going to compete for a Super Bowl, which should be every fan's objective. So at the end of the day, if the Giants take either one, the tackle or the linebacker, who cares? Let's make sure they're a top talent. That's what's most important. That's my mindset on it, man. And Cruzon, man, thanks for the love, man. Thank you again, Cruzon, with the $2 donation. I appreciate it, buddy. Hey, yo, Chris, do you know about... I do not, Leo. I do not. Simmons and Trey Adams, I think you get in the 3rd or the 4th from what I've seen in these mocks. Might even be able to get him in the 5th. He's had a lot of injuries, but he is big. He is the type of offensive lineman that get him and could be interested in, in terms of a depth player. I don't view him as a starter, at least this year. Ruiz at 4 is too early. You don't take a center that early. Ruiz is either, and by the way, Jersey Joe, I gotta get the heater. That is as cold as ice. No, center's gonna go in the back end of the 1st, or early 2nd. That's where I think they'll go. Maybe Ruiz goes as high as like 22, 23, 24 in that range, without looking at the board right now. But I don't think he'll go in the top half of the 1st round. Would it be crazy to draft 3 O-linemen in the first 2 rounds if we traded back? Riley Easton, I am the biggest Hog Molly fan in the world outside of Dave Gettleman, and even I don't think I would do that. I think I would take 2 in the scenario in which I had 3 picks in the first 36. But like everybody says, our defense has a lot of holes. As much as we need to fix that O-line for the young quarterback, we definitely need to fix the defense as well. I would absolutely use 1 of the picks for sure on defense, if not 2. Depending on which center prospect was there at 36. Let's see what we got here. Do a 10-year simulation on Madden with all the possible prospects, or even have a subscriber do it and make a vid about it. That's something I'm going to probably... the Madden content, stuff like that, people have suggested that to me a lot. That is something I will do in the offseason. Right now, I'm focused on the draft. I'm focused on undrafted free agencies after the draft, recapping the draft. If I'm going to get into rebuilds and stuff like that, that'll be something I do in like mid-May, late May, something like that. But I will, like I always say on this channel, man, I want to do what you guys want to watch. So a lot of people have asked me to do that, so I'm going to be sure to try to do that for you guys at some point. Let's see what we got here. Entertainer, who would you date, Rihanna or Halle Berry? Is there an option for all the above? Do I have to pick one? I mean, I'd be happy with either one of those two. Lucky Luciano, man, thanks so much for the love. $2 donation. He says, Simmons fills 3 needs. Linebacker, defensive end, cornerback, can't pass. He does, but he can only play 1 need at a time. But you're right. Versatility, absolutely. Absolutely. What's going on, Chef? He says they have Tristan Wirfs at like 67 overall rating in Madden. It's totally unrealistic. You can't go by Madden. I mean, they had Daniel Jones last year. Didn't they have Daniel Jones? I can't remember which quarterback it was. He was ranked lower than, I think it was like a 6th-round quarterback going into the season. So you can't go by Madden ratings. You can't do it. Can't do it. What is going on, Malik Thompson? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. And you missed it. We talked about Chase Claypool for 3 hours straight. No, I'm kidding, but I know you love Claypool. Daniel Jones was at a 67. Yeah, Josh, yeah, he was. I know he was ranked lower than like a 6th-round quarterback. I remember reading an article on it. Was that what it was? It was Tyree Jackson. Giants always won with defense. Giants will continue to win with defense. Will continue to win with defense and running the ball down your throat with a strong offensive line. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. We need defense. What's going on, Alex Sports? What's going on, MYG31? Let's see what we got here. Thomas and Will's grade higher than Simmons' position is factored into player grades. Okay. Oh, on Madden you're talking about? Did you hear the rumors about the trade for... Yeah, Christopher, I heard the rumors, but from what I heard, what I've gathered, correct me if I'm wrong, that was a mock draft. A mock draft doesn't mean it's a rumor. A mock draft just means it's somebody that drew up a mock draft and said the Giants could trade down with the Jaguars and get Yannick Ngakoue. That's not a rumor. I think the guy who wrote the article pinned it that way as if it were a rumor, but it was just a mock draft. Unless there's something new to it. Let's see what we got here. I'm in love with Hodgins I love Hodgins. I love Hodgins, man. I'm a huge Hodgins guy in round 5 if we could get him. Yo, Chris, Giants should be like the Bills, but better. I like what the Bills did last offseason. I said in my free agency preview video that I thought they did a great job in terms of the way that they built through free agency. They filled a lot of holes, short-term deals. That's exactly what the New York Giants did. The Bills obviously focused more on the offensive line, and I thought that was a smart approach going into last year with the second-year quarterback with Josh Allen. You obviously saw it pay off. The Bills made the playoffs last year. I like what the Bills did in free agency, and the Giants kind of had a similar approach. It was short-term deals. What's going on, Nicole Vieira? Let's see what we got here. Who decides who's good or not in the mock drafts every year? You know what? At the end of the day, mock drafts are fun. They're for entertainment purposes. They're basically to hold us over until the draft. I mean, mock drafts are fun. I love doing them. I love looking at them, watching them, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, it's a guess. We don't know what's going to happen. To me, what is valuable about a mock draft, if from a consumer standpoint, is you get to learn the team needs, and you also get to see what trades are realistic. Like, why would this team make this trade? And things that could potentially happen in the draft. But you can't go by what mock drafts say. You can't go by that. Bills defense is also, Bills defense is stacked, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I'm completely with you, which is why I love the Bills going into this season, because I knew they addressed the offensive line. I wasn't trying to say that the defense had nothing to do with their success. I'm saying that what they focused on this offseason, being that they already had an established defense, was fixing that very poor offensive line. The Bills had one of the top 5 defenses in football the year before, and it only got better, and it'll probably be better this year. So the Bills have a very good football team, absolutely. Malik, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $5 donation says, Chris, What's up? It's so funny how people say that we can trade with the Raiders to give us 2 picks in the first round. The thing with the Raiders, I mean, anything could happen. You know, Gruden's crazy, you know, and he loves his quarterbacks. Anything's possible. He traded Khalil Mack. I don't think it's going to happen. But I would want 12 and 19 if we traded down, but it's not going to happen. It's not a very realistic option. The most realistic options are the Chargers and the Dolphins. Those are the 2 most realistic options. If they're going to trade down, I would say there's an 80% chance it'll be one of those 2 teams. But it could be somebody else. But, you know, there's always possibilities. Let's see what we got here. Did you hear about MLB's plan to return in May? I did. Now, I think that was written by Jeff Passan on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I don't think it'll be up by May. Maybe it'll be up by June. Maybe they'll be playing in empty stadiums at first. I think they'll play some doubleheaders to try to fit in some games for sure if they do it. Let's see what we got here. Who do we take at 4? I'm curious to see your pick. Who do we take at 4? You want my honest opinion? Now you're asking me who I think they're going to pick? If we stay at 4, now I don't know if we're going to. If we stay at 4, right now, if I'm being completely Isaiah Simmons. If you ask me right now, I'm leaning Isaiah Simmons. But my opinion changes every 3 days. But if you ask me today, I would say Isaiah Simmons. I think I'm leaning that way. I'm not 100% thinking it's a definite going to happen, but I'm leaning that way. Now, the fact that they've interviewed offensive linemen now with the second batch of interviews, who knows? It could be smoke. But they brought in Andrew Thomas. They brought in Ruiz. Those are the first 2 names that we've heard. So to me, that's encouraging in the sense that at least they're going to pay attention to the offensive line, whether it's in the first or the second round. I'm leaning Simmons, but it could definitely go with a tackle for sure if we stay at 4. Malik says, if that happens, someone's getting fired. Malik says, what do you mean on the Raiders end? I don't know. I'm telling you right. I think 12 and 19 is a fair price tag. If I'm trading down from 4 to 12, that's a huge drop. That's 8 draft picks, and you're trading up for a quarterback. I don't know if the Raiders would be willing to give that up, but if I'm trading down from 4 to 12, I'm the Giants, I better be getting that. I better be getting 12 and 19. What's going on, Moose? Do you believe in Julian Love as our starting free safety? Julian Love, Sabrina, what's going on? Thanks for popping in. Julian Love, I mean, it's hard for me to say I don't believe in him. He played well, you know, in the limited experience he had. Am I willing to commit and say that I know he's going to be a great free safety for the next, decade? No. He gave me 4 games. And there were times where he got lost in coverage. Do I think he's got upside? Yes. Do I think he fits very well in this defensive scheme? Yes. Would I like, more talent in the secondary via the draft? Yes. But I would like to see Love get an opportunity, whether it's playing in the slot, whether it's playing in the free safety. And the way the team's aligned right now, at least, he's going to be the free safety. That could change after draft night. Do I watch basketball? Yes. I'm a Knicks fan, unfortunately. What's up, JP? What are the odds, in your opinion, between drafting at 4 and trading back? If we draft at 4, who do you want? If we trade back, what scenario you went over do you like most? I'm going to say there's at least, I'll say a 30 to 35% chance we trade down. And like I said, it more than likely will be with the Chargers or the Dolphins if we do it. And I would prefer the Chargers just because I think we're still getting the same player at 6 that we would get at 4. And we'd get more in return, being that it's 2 spots. So in an ideal world, if we're trading down, I'd like it to be the Chargers of the 2 most realistic possibilities. And then at 6, like I've said all along, man, I slightly prefer the tackle, but Simmons is a good option as well. You got to make sure you hit on the pick. What's going on, D-Rose? You never have to apologize for popping in, man. Thanks for popping in, buddy. Oh, Jersey Joey, man. I got to order on Amazon. After the stream. He said, Jersey Joe with the $15 donation. He says, go buy the damn cup warmer, dude. Fix the O-line. Damn it. Even if Simmons and Young are there at 4, find a damn trade partner and enjoy the bounty of picks to build this roster. Offensive tackle, center, safety, linebacker, no more DTs. No more DTs is right. You are preaching to the choir. That's for damn sure. I do definitely don't want DTs. And in an ideal world, like I've said all along, since before I think the season even ended, in a perfect scenario, the Giants find a trade partner and trade back because they have a lot of holes to fill in this team. The more early picks you get, the better. So I even think a lot of Simmons people in an ideal world would like to trade down. I think there's a lot of people that are sold on Simmons if we stay at 4, but I think there's a good portion of those people that would tell you I'm completely fine with taking a tackle and I'd prefer to trade down if we found the right partner. I would guess that most Giant fans want to trade down and do not want to stay at 4. I would say 70% if I had to guess. Want to trade down. What's going on, David? Thanks for popping into the stream. Burrow is definitely going number... Yeah, Burrow's going 1. Burrow's going 1. He is preaching to the choir while Gettleman isn't even in the room, 2KJ says. Did anyone watch the Giants versus Carolina game today? I did not. Let me see what we got. Is there any reason at all for the Lions to stay at 3 and leave us to trade down with the Dolphins or Chargers for Tua? Yeah, HJ. There's a reason. First reason, HJ. If Young's there's their first reason, right? I don't think that's going to happen. Second reason, if they're going to take Simmons, makes sense because the Giants could take him. If they're sold on Okudah, which is what most people think they're going to do, it makes a hell of a lot of sense to trade down to 5. Maybe not the 6, but the 5. Because you guarantee yourself Okudah there. The Giants are not taking Okudah. So, I'm with you. If I'm a Lions fan and Okudah's my guy, I want to trade down to 5. Probably 6 even, if I can. But yeah, I'm completely with you. They should look to trade down if Okudah's their guy. If Simmons is their guy, they probably stand pat. And if Chase Young is their guy, obviously they stand pat. Who knows what they do, though? Maybe they don't get a trade package. And what's your favorite baseball, basketball, and hockey team? My favorite baseball team, unfortunately, is the New York Mets. My favorite basketball team is the New York Knicks, unfortunately. And my favorite hockey team, I'm not a hockey guy, but if I had to pick a team, I'd pick the Islanders. I'm from Long Island, so, but I'm not a big hockey person. So come playoff time, I kind of just root for whichever New York team is doing well. I want to get more into hockey. I don't have the time, but I do like playoff hockey. But I guess I'd pick the Islanders. Let's see what we got here. Is Wills the best overall offensive tackle in the draft? A lot of people tell you that Thomas is the best overall tackle in this year's draft. Like I said, it's splitting hairs, man. They're both really good. They're both really, really, really good. Wills and Thomas, I think, in my opinion, I think most people have agreed on the 2 best tackle prospects. Wirfs has a very high ceiling because of his athletic ability, and he needs to get some technical things down. But all 3 of them are very, very good prospects. Judge likes players that play multiple positions. What about Lynn Bowden? Yeah, a lot of people have brought him up to me. Yeah, he's possible. He's possible in like the 4th or the 5th. I think we had a mock to us in one of the mocks on a couple of nights ago, Monday, when I did it. He's possible for sure. And you're right. He does. Another guy that we don't talk about a lot, undrafted pickups last year, undrafted free agents. How about Sills out of West Virginia? Tall wide receiver, kind of fits the scheme if he gets an opportunity. Was a red zone target in college. And he's a former quarterback. Maybe he's got some athletic ability. Maybe he could play a Taysom Hill-like role. I'm not saying he can. I don't know that. But that's an interesting prospect that I don't think we talk enough about. You know, maybe he does make the team this year. Victor Cruz, it took 2 years. Oh, Yvonne, man, thanks so much. Yvonne, how you been, buddy? What's up, BFF? I mentioned that trade to Jacksonville, the 4th pick, and Yannick, and the 9th. Colin showed to you a while ago. You said it was out-of-the-box trade. I like the out-of-the-box thinking, man. I always like creative thinking, and people have talked about that. I think it's a reasonable trade. Do I think it'll happen? Probably not, but I did read an article today that said the New York Giants are one of the 4 or 5 most likely teams that could potentially land him. Do I think they will? We'll see. Reports came out, at the beginning of free agency that the New York Giants were reportedly interested in him. He's toyed with the Giants, but he's also toyed with the Eagles and several other teams. The Giants have a little cap space. Do I think it'll happen? Probably not, but it's a possibility. Countdown to draft. That's right, man. 15 days. I can't wait. And I'll be, like I've said the last couple weeks, I'll be live for that week. I'll probably be live almost every night. Just talking draft with you guys. And probably the 4 or 5 days after the draft. Just recapping it, talking about the undrafted free agents. I know there's not a lot of sports going on, so This is an opportunity to grow my channel. More importantly, it's an opportunity to get to know you guys better and talk Giants football. So I'll be live a lot. The week leading up to it, the week after the draft for sure. Do I like Judge? Is the Pope Catholic? Yes, I love Judge. Joe Judge, I think it was a great hire. Obviously, we don't know how he's going to do on the field yet, but I do like him. He seems like a great leader. He seems to command the team, and I do think he's going to be a very good coach for the New York Giants. OGR, my man, how you doing, OG? I'm going to have OGR on the channel this week. I just got to figure out a day. I'm working with a couple of people. I'm having Lloyd on the channel hopefully Friday. I got to reach out to him. One of my subscribers. I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to have subscribers on once a week. But I definitely want to have OGR on the channel. If you have not done so, go on over to his channel, check it out. I want to talk draft with him. Me and him think a lot alike on a lot of things, so it'll be a very interesting conversation. I'm looking forward to it. And he says, my man, you have been killing the content as of late. Love the interview you did. Honestly, April 23rd can't get here fast enough. I want this Simmons or tackle debate to be settled sooner rather than later. I'm with you, OGR. I am completely with you, man, and we're going to find out on draft night. I can't wait to see how it plays out. I'm not going to be upset either way. Like I've said all along, everybody knows my preference, but I think they're both good options. And I can't wait to see how it plays out. And thank you again for the love, man. And, Karan Gill, thank you so much for becoming a member. I really appreciate that. I hope I pronounced your name right. Welcome to being a member. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And Malik with the $10 donation. He says, so, Chris, I heard that we be dumb passing up on Andrew Thomas or Jedrick Wills. Second, I heard that the Deadskins, I like that, might take Andrew Thomas at 2, but everybody don't be surprised at the first 5 picks. I would be shocked if they took Andrew Thomas. Now, I would understand if the Redskins took a tackle, believe me, especially if they think Dwayne Haskins is their quarterback going forward. They're going to lose Trent Williams. They've got a bad offensive line, but Chase Young, to me, is a player you don't pass up on. I am not going to believe that until I see it. In terms of what else did you say? I would not be upset at all with Andrew Thomas or Jedrick Wills. I think they're the 2 best tackle prospects in this year's draft. I'm with you, man. I am completely with you on that, for sure. Thank you so much, Karan. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. He says, you're my favorite YouTuber, dog. Keep killing it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. Thank you very much, and thank you for supporting my channel. I really appreciate that, and thank you to everybody for being in here. Still got 329 people in here. Thank you to all you guys out there. And like I said, I hope everybody's staying safe. And, yeah, man, thank you guys for helping me get through this as much as I hope I'm helping you get through it as well. Josh Latore, my man. What's going on, Josh? $5 donation says, I want Simmons so bad after last year passing on Josh Allen, but not mad about drafting Danny Dimes. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows. For everybody that may think that might be new to my channel that doesn't think I think about defense, go back and look at my draft reaction. I wanted Josh Allen. I wanted Josh Allen over a quarterback. So I just think this is a draft that's a heavy tackle draft, and we got a quarterback now. We got to protect him. That's just my mindset. But, I completely understand people that want to take Simmons. I completely understand it. Thanks so much for the love. And Ken with the $5 donation, he says, good morning, Chris. That's right. Good morning over there for you over in the Philippines. Thanks for the love. Judge likes players that are multi-positions. How about Lynn Bowden in day 3? Yeah, I don't know if you heard. Thank you for the donation. I actually responded to that earlier. But, yeah, I think that's a really good suggestion you bring up. I think I had a mocked in one of my mocks, or 1 or 2 of my mocks on Monday in like the 4th or 5th round area. And then I brought up also Sills in my response to what you said earlier of the same question. I think that's a guy that we kind of forgot about on the practice squad. Former quarterback, wide receiver. Maybe he could be used in a Taysom Hill-like role and is a good red zone target. So, yeah, I mean, he's definitely an option for sure that the Giants could be looking at. Thanks for the love, man. Danny with the $2 donation, he says, so you really think the Eagles have a bad future? It's hard for me to say that the Eagles have a bad future. To me, at the end of the day, Danny, the Eagles are going to come down to Carson Wentz and being able to keep him healthy. He's already shown that he's injury prone. Going into the year, if I'm being completely honest, like I've told you, I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC East. That could change with injuries, obviously, but going in, I would pick the Eagles to be the best team in the NFC East. But, I mean, it's only fair to say when you look at the cap situation and the way that your GM has backloaded all these contracts, that the Eagles, from a financial standpoint, have the worst future. Now, to their credit, they have more talented players, so they're paying for it than they have a more talented roster than the Giants and obviously the Redskins. So that's part of it for sure, but they're an older team. Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say the Eagles have a 1 or 2 year window to really compete. and then they may go through a rebuilding phase. Fans want Young over Lyman, but don't want Simmons over Lyman. I'm one of those. I'm one of those guilty fans, Jeffrey. I readily admit it. I am one of those guilty fans. As much as I love the offensive line, to me, Chase Young is a prospect that I can't pass up on. And some Giants fans, I think, have talked themselves into liking Isaiah Simmons more than Chase Young. They're entitled to their opinion. I personally don't think they're close. I think Chase Young is, and I think Chase Young is much safer than Simmons. Like I always say, you look at the best pass rushers in every draft over the last 5 or 6 drafts, they always pan out. And I'm not saying Simmons won't. I think he will. I like Simmons. But I think Chase Young is far and away the best prospect on either side of the football in this year's draft, which is why I'd be so shocked if the Redskins passed up on him. What's going on, Dylan? Thanks for popping to the stream. Wide receiver in the late round or take what's going on, Vance? Hope you're shaving tonight. I know you always shave when you come into my streams. Wide receiver in the late round or take I would go later rounds. I think round 2 is too early. The only way I'd be okay with taking one round 2 is if we got an extra second round pick. I shouldn't say okay. I mean, if one fell there that shouldn't be there, I wouldn't be upset if they take it. But ideally, if we plan on taking a wide receiver in round 2, I would like to have an extra pick if we traded down, like with the Chargers. Let's see what we got here. Been watching Chase Young, and he's really good and going to be a great player, but he's a mid-first round talent. I'm with you, Big Daddy. I am a huge fan of K'Lavon Chaisson. Everything I've heard about him, read about him. I know Rover Sports is a big fan when I had him on the channel, and I think he fits very well with the Giants. I think he fits very well with the Patriots, the Dolphins. I think he'd go to one of those destinations. I don't think it'll be the Giants unless we trade it down. But I'm a big fan of him. Let's see what we got here. Mekhi Becton at 4. I don't want Becton at 4. I know some Giants fans want him. He had the really impressive combine. He's big. He's definitely got a high ceiling. I think 4 is too early for Mekhi Becton. We need Lawrence Taylor. Yeah, we need Lawrence Taylor. Yeah, we need Lawrence Taylor. Yeah. And like I've said numerous other times, if you told me Isaiah Simmons is going to be Lawrence Taylor or even close to Lawrence Taylor, I don't think twice. But if you want my honest opinion, I don't think he's going to be close to Lawrence Taylor. And that's not a knock on Isaiah Simmons. Lawrence Taylor is one of the greatest defensive players, is the greatest defensive player who ever lived. Oh, man, thank you so much, man. New York for life. I was informed there would be light-skinned females here. I mean, there might be. Ask around in the chat. There might be a couple of light-skinned females. There's none that are going to appear on the stream, unfortunately, unless I get a picture. Maybe next time I'll have a picture ready for you. New York for life. Thanks for the love. And Malik with the $10 donation. He says, but Chris, I got a question to Simmons fans. Did you know that how many people coming out of the draft who's like Simmons, again, if we draft Lyman in the first 2 rounds, it's not the end. No, you're right. Simmons to me is the future of the NFL. I think you're going to see a lot more linebackers like Isaiah Simmons. I think it's going to become more and more relevant to have a player like him on your defense to be able to guard guys like Evan Ingram. As the tight end positions get more athletic, as you get better slot receivers, you need players to cover those players. And the slot receiver and the tight end have been that much more involved in the offensive passing game over the last 10 years. Same with the running back coming out of the backfield. So I think guys like Isaiah Simmons are incredibly valuable. I've even went as far to say that you could even make an argument that they might be the most valuable piece on a defense. You could make that argument. I still would go with the edge rusher, but you could make that argument. Who will you compare Simmons and Chase Young to? I mean, many people to me have compared Simmons to Cam Chancellor. I think there's not a lot of players that are like him, right? There's not a lot of players that are as big and as fast as he is. He's a tweener. He's basically the Evan Ingram of defense. Now, obviously, we hope he's much better than Evan Ingram, and we hope he stays healthy. I'm not, comparing their injury history at all. But Evan Ingram was kind of a guy, like I said in my video today, that was too small to be a traditional tight end, but he was too big to be a traditional wide receiver. And it's the same thing with Simmons. He's kind of too big to be a traditional safety, and he's kind of too small to be a traditional line. He's kind of a tweener, but that's why he could do everything. And he's very athletic. I think he's the modern day linebacker. I think in 3-4 years, his size is going to be the normal size for a linebacker, because the coverage aspects of linebacker is getting more and more important in today's NFL, being that it's more of a passing league than it's ever been before. LA Girl, thank you so much for the $10 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, I'm in the Simmons camp, but I wouldn't be mad if we got Wills from Bama. If we don't get Simmons, do you think Conley still has the potential to be the guy for us at linebacker? I do. I know, and thanks again, LA, man, for the love. I know people have said that Conley's going to be back by the start of training camp, if that starts on time. But, it's been positive reports. I still think he may need some time to get into game shape. I don't know, even if we don't take Simmons, if he'd be ready to be in the starting lineup week 1. But I do like a lot of the things I saw from Conley last year in the limited time that we saw him. Now, do I know he could be a 10-year starter? No. And I'll say this. I'll give Jeffrey some credit. I think I saw him say it in my live chat before I went live, and he was basically saying that people say that Nick Gates can't get it done, but he had just as good of a track record as Conley. But it seems like Giants fans are very much for Conley, and that's a fair point. And both of them have limited success. Am I completely sold on Conley? No. Do I like what I saw in the limited action? Yes. I think he's pretty good in coverage when you watch the film. He's got good instincts for the ball. But you don't know what he's going to be like after that injury. And, we didn't see a big enough sample size. But I do like Conley. Let's see what we got here. Your favorite prospect projected to go in the later rounds. My favorite prospect projected to go in the later rounds? Tuska. Yeah, it's got to be Tuska, man. I've talked about him a lot in my mock drafts. I got him going in the 5th or 6th round in a lot of them. Derek Tuska. Go give him a look. North Dakota State, if you haven't done so. I'm a fan of him. Edge rusher. Yeah, I would like the Giants to grab him. Probably my favorite late round prospect. Let's see what we got here. Most underrated wide receiver in this year's class. Most underrated wide receiver. I thought he was. You know what? I don't love him for the Giants, but I do like KJ Hill. I also love I love Pittman. Now Pittman to me doesn't seem as underrated as he once was. I saw Pittman going mid-late 3rd round, early 4th, not so long ago. Now he's going mid to late 2nd, early 3rd. But I really like Pittman. Pittman's got sure hands. He's tall. He's not the greatest athlete, which is why I don't think he's a first-round prospect. But, yeah, I really like Pittman a lot as well. I don't think the Giants will get him, though. Malik, thanks so much for the love, man. $5 donation. He says, Chris, the 3 hardest positions to draft right is lineman, quarterback, cornerback. Can you find a good linebacker late rounds like the Oregon dude? You could. But I'll say this. It's hard to draft a linebacker, too, man, if we're being completely fair. Malik, we have not. Last time the Giants drafted a linebacker that was good, it's been forever. So, I don't want to undersell the linebacker position. The linebacker position is definitely important. But yeah, I agree with you that definitely cornerback is really hard to draft, to find a really good corner. I'd agree with that. I would say that those 3 you can definitely make an argument, but linebacker is definitely hard to draft as well. I do like Troy Dye. If he was there at 99 and we could afford that pick. I do like him. He's kind of a poor man Simmons. He's a little bit smaller. He's 225, but a coverage guy. So I do like Dye out of Oregon. Thanks so much for the love. I really appreciate it. Josh Story says, I want the MLB season to be here now, but give my Yankees a chance to get fully healthy. Your Yankees are stacked, Josh. Your Yankees are stacked. And, of course, the Mets, with my luck, Noah Syndergaard goes down before the season even starts. The season hasn't started, but Syndergaard with the Tommy John. I was really excited about baseball season. I thought we had a good young emerging lineup. With a improved bullpen that I thought would be better and a good staff. I was excited for the Mets, but obviously Syndergaard goes down. That changed my mindset for this year. But yeah, the Yankees are stacked. The Yankees, in my opinion, should be the favorites, at least in the American League. Thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, yes, I like Pittman. I do like Pittman. How would you feel if Chase Young was still on board in the Giants drafted an offensive tackle? I would not be happy. You're not going to see me flip out if they do that. I've kind of said going into the draft I am not going to flip out regardless of what the Giants do. I'm going to give my opinion if I hate the pick. I would want them to take Chase Young, though. If Chase Young is there at 4, I would be upset if they didn't take him. Even as much as I love the tackle, I would be upset if they didn't take him. Chris, you may have answered this, but what do you expect from Joe Burrow in his career with Cincinnati? I don't think I have answered that, Chuck. I'm a fan of Burrow. I think Burrow's going to be really good, but I worry about Cincinnati. I worry about the foundation that they're going to provide him. That is not a good football team. But in terms of a talent, when I watch Burrow, and to be fair, I don't watch a lot of college football, but I've watched tape. I did a breakdown of Isaiah Simmons. I'm sure you watched it. When I looked at all the different positions he played, I wanted to show Giants fans that. But obviously, I scanned through the entire game. Joe Burrow was the most impressive player in that game, not Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons was very impressive. Joe Burrow is a very talented quarterback. I just worry about Cincinnati for him. You know, a lot of a quarterback's success has to do with the team he gets put on. And if I was a guy that was a Burrow fan, that's what I would worry about, the fit. But in terms of a talent, he's got everything you want. And we got time. Thank you so much for the $2 donation. He says, how do I get the entertainer sticker in the chat? I appreciate the love, man. If you become a member, you get a sticker. And I forgot who gave me the suggestion. I've got to add a cannoli sticker. Somebody said I got to do that. So I'm going to add a cannoli sticker. I'll do that after the stream. But yeah, if you become a member, you get the sticker. Let's see what we got here. Cincinnati doesn't even have a train. Let's see what we got here. The Bungles, yes. Do you think Joe Judge is like Coughlin? Maybe a few Super Bowls. I hope he get us 2 Super Bowls like Tom Coughlin did. I hope, man. We could only hope that he could do that. But I do think that there are similarities. If you remember correctly, Tom Coughlin, when he first came here, was too much of a disciplinarian. And I like disciplinarians. But the player, you know, if you weren't 5 minutes early to a meeting, you were yelled at, you know. And then he kind of eased off a little bit, and the players respected him for it. Joe Judge, to me, kind of fits that mold. He seems like he's a disciplinarian, but at the same time relates well to players. Players talk about how he jokes, how he's relatable, how they like playing for him. A lot of players said specifically they came here to play for Joe Judge. So I like Joe Judge. I think players are going to like playing for him. And I do see some similarities with Tom Coughlin in the sense that I think he's a hard-nosed disciplinarian, pays attention to the details. I could see some similarities, for sure, other than the fact that he's 38 years old. And obviously Tom Coughlin was old. Malik Thompson, thank you for the $1 super sticker. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'll try to make that face. I don't know. I know Bad Dog does that when he gets a super sticker, but thanks for the love, man. Let's see what we got here. QB in rounds 5, 6, or 7. I honestly don't want to take a quarterback in this draft. We got McCoy. He's our backup this year. I want to fill holes, man. I want to get hog mollies there. I want to get defensive players there. I don't want to use a pick on a quarterback this year. What's going on, Doc Steele? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. If we draft Simmons, what are we going to do with 4 middle linebackers? Well, like I've said, people have asked me that before. I mean, I still think you're going to find time for Conley to get in there because Simmons you could play all around. You could put him at the slot corner in some aspects. You could play him at safety. He's obviously going to play predominantly at the linebacker more than likely, but there'll be packages for Conley to get in there for sure. Let's see what we got here. McCoy's a solid backup. Do you think the Giants could trade the 4th pick to the Jags for Yannick, and we get the Jags give us their... Yeah, somebody asked me that earlier. I know that's been a rumor for a while. It's possible. Obviously, the Giants would have to take on that contract. The only way that deal's possible, you got to rescind the tag on Leonard Williams. You got to let Leonard Williams go. So essentially, you'd be trading Leonard Williams along with the 4th pick to bring in Yannick. But that's the only way that trade's possible. Do I want Jimmy Johnson Sr.? Somebody I have not thought much about. Malik, thank you so much for the love. $2 donation. What player do you want to draft in the 7 rounds? You mean in the 7th round? I mean, I've talked about the guy from North Dakota State, the edge rusher. He's a guy I really like. There's a couple. I mean, I like Runyon in the 7th round. He's got, obviously the roots to his dad, the offensive lineman for the Eagles. I wouldn't mind him. I've talked about the tight end from Stanford, who I really like. I can't remember his name. Parkinson, I think it is. I like him in the later rounds. We obviously have had Stanford ties to some of our free agent signings. Pass-catching tight end. Yeah, I mean, there's a number of guys in the 7th round. Some running back prospects for sure. The kid from TCU. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. But yeah, there's a couple of prospects in the 7th round that I like. Thanks for the love, man. Zeke Anderson with the $5 donation. He says, we need an offensive tackle, but none of the top 4 are better than the other 4. We need a sure thing, and Simmons is the pick. Get the offensive tackle in the 2nd. And Zeke, that's a fair argument. That is a very fair argument, and I'm going to give you my rebuttal to that. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And I said it on Twitter today, and I think it's a fair point you bring up. But my rebuttal to that is the argument that because this is a common thing that people say for why we can't take an offensive tackle, because none stands out above the rest. First, I think there's an argument that could be made that Wills may or Thomas may stand out above the rest. But I think it's a fair thing to say that none of them stands out in a mega way. Like, nobody could definitively say this guy's the best. But my argument to that is this is the best tackle class in a decade, by what most people say. And I could say that maybe none of them stand out because they're all really, really, really good. That's not necessarily, to me, that's not necessarily a bad thing that none of them stand out. You saw the combine these guys had. Wirfs had like the best combine for an offensive tackle I've ever seen. Becton, for his size, was the most athletic offensive lineman I've ever seen. Andrew Thomas, I think, didn't surrender a sack this entire year. I just think it's coincidental that this year it's an unbelievable tackle class. I think that has as much to do with anything that one of them doesn't stand out above the rest. But I completely get your argument there, and I completely get why you want to take Simmons. Simmons to me is a guy that really stands out at the linebacker position. So, and is an athletic freak and would bring a lot to this New York Giants defense. And as much as I'm outspoken about being in love with taking a tackle, I'll be the first to buy his jersey on draft night, and I would be pumped up if we took him. So don't get it twisted. But thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate it. Oh, and Stickball Sports, he's got a new channel, by the way. He follows me on Twitter. That is a new channel. I'm not sure if he started putting out content, but thank you for becoming a member, man. I really appreciate that. And he was nice enough to tell me on Twitter that I inspired him to start his channel, so I really appreciate that as well. And if you guys haven't done so, go on over to Stickball Sports and give him a look. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. 3 a.m. there. Wow. What's going on, Kush? Thanks for popping in. All right, I got to go have fun talking football and stay sick. You too, Isaac, man. Thanks for being here, buddy. Can you do a mock right now? I'm gonna do the mock again probably on Monday. I'll probably do one more of those on Monday. I'm not gonna do it right now because I don't have it set up, but I'll definitely do it. Probably on Monday I'll do another one of those. What's going on, JMG? Thanks for popping in the stream. And Malik says, Chris, when we go lineman, we better go lineman first. We need to choose the best run blocker versus the best pass blocker. We need a pass blocker. I think that's the argument that people make, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. I think a lot of people feel that Wills is a better pass blocker than Thomas. From what some people say, and I know Big Daddy disagrees with it. Big Daddy, to me, is one of my most educated subscribers, so I honestly take his opinion just as strongly as some of these guys on Draft Network and things like that. He studies film. He does a great job of breaking it down whenever he replies to my comments. But a lot of the experts say that Wills is a better pass protector, and they think that Andrew Thomas could get beaten by athletic defensive ends at the pro level in pass protection. So if you're looking for the better pass blocker, I think that's why a lot of Giants fans are on the Wills train. And we got time. Thanks for letting me. $2 donation. He says, what running backs in the draft do you like to back up Barkley? Dylan's my favorite. Dylan's my favorite. He's big-bodied. I've said time and time again that that's the guy that I want the New York Giants to take. If we're going to take a running back in the 5th or 6th round area, that's the guy I like. I also like the kid. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I like the kid from TCU as well. But in terms of late-round prospects, but I like Dylan. Dylan's my favorite. I think Boston College. You see that? Yeah, only $1.5 million, Booze. He's only getting $1.5 million. I think it was a one-year deal. Yeah, it was only $1.5 million. Nothing wrong with the Deion Lewis signing. Bring back Prince Amukamara. I mean, at this point, you're probably gonna get him for next to nothing. I mean, but he's not gonna play. I mean, here's my. I wasn't even against Prince Amukamara at first before we brought in Bradbury because he would have been cheap. You could have still drafted a cornerback early. But now you've got your veteran corner with Bradbury. I think it's much more valuable for guys like Beal to get playing time than Prince Amukamara. I don't think he's going to add much. Prince Amukamara at this point is definitely on the tail end of his prime. He's regressed somewhat. Obviously, the Bears' defense regressed, so maybe that had something to do with it. But he doesn't make sense right now for the Giants. Let's see what we got here. People that's asking for offense when our defense is trash. Offense always playing from behind. Listen, we need both, Joe. We need both. I'm completely for you in terms of offensive playmakers. I'm completely for you. If let's just say, Joe, they go tackle this year's draft. Let's say they do that in the first round. they better not take a wide receiver in the next. They got to focus on the defense. The defense and the offensive line. That's all I ask. I think you need to build that foundation. I think you need to get a strong offensive line, and you definitely need one or two big-time playmakers on the defense. I'm not going to be upset either way. I'm not taking a wide receiver. I'm not taking a wide receiver. Offense wins games. Defense wins championships. You're right, Bradley. Although you could say the Chiefs' offense won this year, but I'm with you. Defense wins championships. I completely agree with that. But a strong offensive line goes a long way as well. Any thoughts on Chase? I like Caleb on Chason. I've said that time and time again. I'm a big fan of his. I like Caleb on Chason in the mid first round area. He's one of my favorite prospects. Thoughts on taking Andrew Thomas at 9 if the Giants trade back for Ngakoue, because that would be one of the best Giants draft picks for getting a guy who hasn't allowed a sack. If we get Andrew Thomas and Ngakoue on draft night, I think most Giant fans will be happy with that as well. And you still have your second round pick. You could conceivably end up with Ngakoue, Thomas, or Wills, or whoever, a tackle, and Ruiz, or a safety, or whatever. Delpit, insert player here. I love Kenneth Murray. I'm a big fan of Kenneth Murray. Let's see what we got here. Do you think there is any chance that we will get Chase Young? Yeah, somebody asked me that earlier in the stream. 6%, 5, 6, 7%. Not a good chance. There's always a chance, but it's slim. It's not likely. Don't expect it. I think it's more real. If the Redskins aren't going to take Chase Young, I think it's more realistic that they would trade out of the pick than actually take Tua, which has been slightly rumored here and there. I think there's a better possibility they would trade out of it, but I don't view either possibility as very realistic. I still think they take Chase Young. And even then, you still have the Lions. And thank you, Afghanistan. I appreciate that. Thank you for telling everybody to thumbs up the stream. I really appreciate that. Anybody that may be new, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell. I appreciate all you guys. You should do a tier list of all of your active subscribers and rank us all on the live stream. Here's what I'll say about Mr. Handglider Man. Mr. Handglider Man may not comment on every video, but don't think I ever forget my original subscribers. Mr. Handglider Man has been with my channel. He had to be one of my first 50 subscribers. Maybe first 100. He's been with my channel when I was getting like 20 views on a video. He's been here that long. And I appreciate it, man. Moojdat, thank you so much for the love, man. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. You too, man. Everybody out there, make sure you're washing your hands. Make sure you're staying safe. And absolutely, thank you very much, man. How about trading back into the first round? I'm completely for that, Doc Steele. I am completely for that. Malik with the $5 donation, he says, so let's talk about Chase Claypool. If we draft him, we don't have to worry about wide receiver for the next 5 years. Chris, it's the Deadskins. If we take Chase Claypool, Chase Claypool to me is very much like Evan Ingram. I could see him if they plan on letting Evan Ingram walk in a year or two, replacing him with Claypool. I know Claypool's projected to be a wide receiver. He's almost identical to Evan Ingram. I could see them both being utilized in a very similar way. I'd be happy with Chase Claypool in the third round if we could get him. Absolutely. I think he's a strong prospect out of Notre Dame for sure. Let's see. Oh, man, Independent says, great. Thank you very much. Says, great talk with Salicata. Love to hear you with WFAN host on hiatus like Lori Robinson, Daniel Marketing. Do you have a late round sleeper in mind? Yeah, somebody asked me that earlier. Huska's my guy. North Dakota State. I'm in love with him. Tuska, rather. And as far as getting more people on, first off, I want to say thank you. I'm going to have him on the channel soon, too. One of my subscribers on Twitter reached out to Sal Licata, and Sal Licata was nice enough to work with me. He didn't have to do that, and that meant a lot to me, man. That's pretty cool, to get somebody who worked for WFN and SNY on the channel. That was really cool. I really enjoyed it. And I may reach out to a few people, why not? At this point in time, everybody's home. I'll try to get a couple people on. I always take suggestions from people. I don't think I'm getting Mike Francesa, but I'll reach out to some people and try to get some people on for sure. And thank you for the love, man. I really appreciate it. And we got time with the $2 donation. He says, biggest bust and draft in your opinion, barring injury. Tua. I'm not knocking Tua. I'm being consistent though. I don't believe in Tua because of his injury history. I don't think he holds up in the NFL. To me, and Becton and Tua. That's my answer. Becton and Tua. Thank you. Stickball, man. Thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate it. He says, hey, Chris, better be going offensive line here, bud. This will be ridiculous if Stuttering Dave stinks this joint up with a wide receiver pick. I've never heard the name Stuttering Dave for Dave Gettleman. But I appreciate the love, man. And once again, I want to shout him out because he always shows me a lot of love on Twitter. It's a new channel. I'm not sure if the content's up, but he's definitely a New York fan. He's a Giant fan, Yankee fan, and he's got a really cool logo. So going over there and check him out. As far as the wide receiver, yeah, man. I never believe in taking a wide receiver super early in a draft. That's just me. Everybody has their own preference, but especially with the New York Giants, the way the team is currently constructed, you got to improve the offensive line and improve the defense. So wide receiver is not near our biggest need right now. Can't take a wide receiver at 4. I'd go crazy. And Malik, thanks so much, man. He says, Chris, I would have found your channel sooner, but it was during the offseason. I don't know how I found you. I think it was a preseason game, I think. I appreciate it, man. I'm happy you found me at all, man. Thank you very much, man. You always show my channel a lot of love. You're a great subscriber. I enjoy talking to you in Discord whenever you pop in there. Yeah, I mean, I don't care if you guys found me yesterday or 5 years ago. Oh, not 5 years. I haven't even been on YouTube for 2 years or almost 2 years ago. So, you guys are active, man. You guys show me so much love. You guys watch my videos, and you always drop comments, and you always share your opinions. So, yeah, I appreciate all you guys. And Maximo, thank you so much for the $2 donation. He says, when are you getting John Mara on the stream? I'll tell you what, the way I've talked about Mara in the past, he may not want to come on my stream. But, now not to say I don't respect the Mara name and respect him as a person and an owner, but there's some things he's done that I'm not in favor of. But if Mara wanted to come on, let's rock and roll. I would love to talk to a billionaire. I've never done that. I don't bank on it. That'd be awesome. Lois with the $2 donation says, Grant Haley and a 4th for Harris. Depending on the contract for Harris, I would not be opposed to that deal. I would not be opposed to that deal, depending on the contract. If it's a 3-year deal, $10 million a year, $11 million a year, I wouldn't be upset with that. You're not giving up much draft capital. Haley's not that good. He's a good tackler. But I would think Minnesota would be looking for more than that. But yes, I would do it for that deal if the contract was reasonable. An offensive lineman with no technique will get marked regardless of his size. Good luck, Becton. Yeah, exactly. That's why, Jeffrey, I'm lockstep with you on that one. I'm not. Becton to me is too big of a project to take that early in the first round. Will you steam draft night? And if so, same as I did last year. I'm gonna do it with Bad Dog. I think last year we did it on my channel the first day. So we'll probably do the first day on his, and then we'll do the second on mine. But yeah, and I'm gonna have a lot of pre-draft coverage leading up to the draft. Probably the day of. I'm probably gonna do the same thing I did last year. Last year I think I had like a Q&A or a call-in show like 3 hours before. I think I took like a 2-hour break between the Q&A and the live stream of the draft. So probably before the draft to try to get the crowd going. Probably do like a 2 or 3 hour live stream leading up to the draft, and then go off for about 2 hours, and then come back on Bad Dog's channel. Probably do something very similar to that. And then day 2 will be over here. Would you take Chase Center? I would take Caleb Vaughn. I'm a huge fan of Caleb Vaughn. I would take Caleb Vaughn. If we already had the Dallas O-line, then Becton would be a decent choice, but we don't. We can't. Yeah, exactly. We need more of a sure thing. Absolutely. You got to set up a tailgate. I'm working on it, Doc. I'm working on it. Got to make sure we got football first, but I think we will. I hope anyway. But yeah, that's something I definitely want to do. I actually talked to Fireside Giants, and I'm gonna be on their channel again. Hoping. I think Monday they said. I can't remember the day, but I'm gonna be on their podcast again. I had a great time with them, and I was talking to Alex over there, and we were talking about trying to set up a tailgate between our two channels, and Bad Dog, of course, as well will get involved. And yeah, that's something I definitely want to do, man. I want to bring the channels together, bring our subscribers together, and definitely set up a tailgate this year for one of the Giant games for sure. That's definitely something I want to do. And he was telling me, I don't know if this is going to happen, but Alex was telling me he knew somebody that worked for like Coors or Miller Lite, and he may be able to get them to sponsor the tailgate. I don't know if that'll happen, but that would be awesome. Malik, thank you so much for the $5 donation. He says, at least John Mara helped to build a team to win a Super Bowl. Look at the Browns or even the Cowboys. They can't even get in the Super Bowl or get past us. That's true. That's why I can't say too many bad things about Mara. He definitely. The one thing I'll say about Mara, and sometimes it's a fault and sometimes it's a strength, very loyal. I think sometimes he's too loyal, but I think sometimes it's important to be patient. And historically, he has been. Not so much recently. So I will say that's both the strength and weakness of Mara. And I think he's a good guy. You know, I got nothing wrong, against him in terms of a person. There's some things with him I don't agree with, and I'm not scared to share my opinion. And we got time. Thanks so much for the $5 donation. I really appreciate it. It says, regardless of when, if we don't draft a receiver over 6'1", I'm going to throw back some Patron shots in misery. I need a tall guy for jump balls and fade routes. We're going to get that. There's so many tall wide receivers in this draft, 6'3" or taller. We're going to get that. It probably going to be in the 3 to 5, between rounds 3 and 5. But I think we're going to get a wide receiver. I'd be surprised if we don't. We need a tall threat, like you said. Would you be in shock if we win the NFC East? No, I would not. Do I expect it? No. But the NFL is a crazy sport. And first off, injuries can happen. What if Carson Wentz gets hurt? What if we you don't know. Am I expecting it? No. But football's a crazy sport. So I won't rule it out. I've seen crazier things happen. The year we won the Super Bowl, and it was a much better team. Don't get it twisted. Okay? We had an established veteran quarterback. We had established veterans on that team. But the second year we won a Super Bowl, we were projected to be, I think, last in the division. Eagles were projected to be first. They had the dream team. So football's a crazy game. Nothing in the NFL shocks me. But if I'm being honest, going in, I'm not picking us to make the playoffs. But nothing would shock me. They got rid of Cody Latimer. Cody Latimer wasn't that good, though. I think you guys ended up... I thought it was Ryan Clay. I think the Redskins ended up with Latimer, if I'm not mistaken. Remember me from the comment? Of course, I see you comment all the time, Muhammad. Yeah, I think 7-9 is 6-10, 7-9. I think that's reasonable expectations going in. We must take a center in this draft, of course. Right now I am completely on the center train. Second round. Center. It's a huge need of ours. You're going to have the opportunity to arguably take the best center in this year's draft at 36. I think that's the right spot to do it. I'm completely on the center train round 2. If not round 3. But, yes. Yeah, Deion Buchanan's gone. He was a scheme guy. You go back and look at I'll give myself, a lot of times what I say doesn't happen. A lot of it is, it's hard to predict things. I called that one. I said, I think 2 weeks before we signed him. Now, a lot of people brought it up. I'm not like a fortune teller. But Deion Buchanan made a lot of sense last year because he was released. You got him for nothing. He had success with James Betcher. So I thought it only made sense to bring him in. But James Betcher's gone. It made no sense to bring Buchanan back. He's been a journeyman the last 2 or 3 years or so. He was very good his first 2 years in the league. Who is my favorite sub? That's something I can't answer. I mean, I have so many great subs, Moose. Well, I'll say, I'm not gonna. I don't pick out favorites, but Moose, you are a great subscriber of mine. That's one thing I will say. Whenever I drop a video, you're probably the first person to comment every time, or one of the first people to comment every time. And you always show my channel a lot of love. You're a great subscriber of mine, and I can't say thank you enough for everything you do for my channel. I'm not gonna pick out a favorite, but I have a lot of great subscribers. Let's see what we got here. We will take Wirfs. His arms will be too short. We will move him to guard, and we will end up back needing a tackle. We'll see. Hopefully that's not the case. People say that about the arms of these prospects. They say they don't have the longest arms. That's one of the knocks. Favorite sub, Jersey Mike's. Yeah. You don't want to say it, Chris? I know Jake's a great subscriber of mine as well. He's awesome, and I'm looking forward to having you on the channel at some point. Yeah, Afghanistan. I mean, so many of my great subscribers are in here. There's too many, but Afghanistan's another great one. Center or Delpit at 36. Center, Delpit, Bourne, Matos. If an edge rusher falls, if a supreme wide receiver falls, which I'm not banking on, I think those are your options there. Yeah, I think center makes the most sense though. If Ruiz is there, he makes a lot of sense. Yeah, of course you don't know about these guys till the season starts. Keelan Chason as a player, Gettleman would jump back into the first. I think yes. I think he could be, yes. I think he fits the type of system that we want to run. He's versatile. Yes, I think he is a guy that we could move back in if he fell to a certain spot. I'm getting the hiccups, guys. I apologize. Let's see what we got here. Chris, where are you beaming out? Where are you beaming out down? Where are you beaming out down? Where am I beaming out down? Maybe I should know what you're talking about, Hazelnut. I don't. Hazelnut's another great subscriber of mine. Comments on my videos all the time. Thank you for popping in, man. Danny will be better than Haskins. He's better than Haskins right now. You're not going to get that argument from me. How long will I be live for? I'll probably go live till like 11, 15. You know I always give you guys a little overtime. But at least 11. Is there any way else someone will trade with the Bengals for number 1 and take Chase Young? I don't see it. I honestly don't see it. I think the Bengals, like I've said all along, when you have a franchise quarterback and he's your guy, you don't trade out of the pick. And if they feel Burrow's the guy, which I think they should, I don't think they're going to trade out of the pick. That's too valuable. You don't give that up. Jake said 11:30, Chris. Come on now. Hennessy, they can do. Hennessy, I like Hennessy. You go look at Hennessy. Hennessy comes from the New Jersey area. You went to Don Bosco Prep. He's been very vocal about wanting to be a New York Giant. Temple Owls. I would like Hennessy in the 3rd round if he's there. I don't know if he will be. But if we don't go center in round 2, Hennessy's definitely a guy, if he's there at 99, that the Giants could look at. Absolutely. You, Bad Dog Fireside Giants, license plate guy, and the Talking Giants crew should do a huge clap. I would love to do that, Tyler. We've talked about that. I've talked about that with Kid Blue as well. I'm going to have OGR on the channel this week, I think. And I'm going to be on Fireside Giants this week. But yeah, maybe we could do like a StreamYards thing where there's like 7 or 8 of us. One night, just talk Giants football. I'd be completely open for that. Even alternate channels. That's something we could do every once a week in the off season. Say we get 3 or 4 Giants YouTubers together. Obviously, I'm still going to do my Bad Dog show, but we get 3 or 4 Giants YouTubers together and we do a weekly show. We alternate channels. I'd be completely down for that. I would take Beatish over Hennessy. I would too, Jersey Joey. I would too, absolutely, if he's there. How much say do you think Judge will have in the draft? You think Gettleman has his mind made? I think Judge is going to have say in this draft. I do. I mean, Judge had a lot of say in free agency. Like I've said, Jake, a few times. I mean, Judge is the future of this team. I like Gettleman. You know, I'm not going to say I love Gettleman, but I do like I like his mentality. I like his mindset. I like that he has guts. But even I acknowledge that Gettleman's not going to be here long term. Gettleman, you might get him here for 3 more years if he does a great job. He's old. He's recovering from cancer. The long-term guy, if things work out, is going to be Joe Judge. And I think it's important that Joe Judge has a lot of say in the personnel decisions. And I think Gettleman knew that when they kept him on. You know, I don't think Gettleman's going to be here for more than 3 more years. I think he's a guy that's good. Gettleman will be, if the Giants become a very good team, Gettleman will be credited with fixing the cap and bringing in Daniel Jones and drafting well. But my personal opinion is when this team gets great, I don't necessarily know if Gettleman will be the GM. That doesn't mean he won't do a good job, but I don't know if he's going to be the GM when this team gets great. When this team gets great, I think Joe Judge will be the coach. So I think he should have a say in the players we bring in. Delano says, I tolerate Gettleman. Yeah, what's going on, Delano? I don't know if you just popped in, man. Thanks for being here, buddy. I think Judge and his staff is going to surprise a lot of us. I like the staff. It won't surprise me if they do. You know, I like the staff. I just, you know, a lot of turnover in terms of new schemes. I think that has to be factored in. You know, that's why I'm trying not, and they're young. So I think we got to go in with reasonable expectations, but I like the staff. I think they're all, it's a very good staff that they put together. Let's see what we got here. Do you like Austin Jackson if we get Simmons at 4? I honestly don't. At that point, if we're going to double up on offensive line at that point, I want to take a center. Need to take a center. I see what you're saying. Jackson would be the replacement for Nate Solder, but you could wait a year. You could take a tackle in the following year's draft, or you could sign one in free agency. I'd rather fill a hole, and a hole would be the center position or a defensive playmaker, whether it's a safety or whatever it may be. I wouldn't want to double up on the tackle. This is Gettleman's last. It might be, Antoine. It might be. And, you know, and I think Gettleman knows that his legacy is tied to Daniel Jones at the end of the day. And Saquon Barkley. And, you know, Ernie, of course, he got a lot of the credit for those Super Bowls, even after he was replaced. he stepped down. But even after he was replaced, he got a lot of the credit. Doesn't mean that Gettleman won't either if those guys perform well and win us a Super Bowl. But yeah, this could be Gettleman's last year, and they might have a plan in place. It might be Abrams. It might be the Patriot guy. We won't know until the end of the year. Could Joe Judge be a coach and GM like Belichick? It's possible. It's possible. But I don't know if the Giants are that type of organization. I do think Joe Judge is going to be hands-on, though. And that's all I care about. I don't need a dictator, but I want the coach to feel comfortable. I want him to feel like he has a say in the players he's bringing in. And I think he has that. I think he'll continue to have that, regardless of who the GM is. Michael, thanks so much for the $5 donation. I really appreciate that. He says, would you be opposed to the Giants picking a left tackle in the first and a center in the second? No. Matter of fact, Michael, you'll see me smile on draft night if that happens. Absolutely. There's a lot of ways I'll smile, but that's one of them. If they get the best center and the best tackle in this year's draft, how could I be upset? Then you don't have to focus on the offensive line for a long time. You got your young foundation if they pan out, obviously. But no, I wouldn't be upset about that at all, especially if we could trade down. Let's see what we do. GM for the Giants in 2 years, Jason Garrett. I don't know about that one. He doesn't have much experience in terms of being a GM. I would think there's a better chance he could be the head coach in 2 or 3 years than a general manager. Hopefully that's not the case. You think we'll give our number 4 pick to the Jags for Freddie? Yeah, a couple people have asked me that today, and to me, there's been no concrete evidence of that. I'm not saying it can't happen. The second I heard about Ngakoue being tagged or that he was going to be tagged, rumors came out like a month before he was actually tagged that he was going to be tagged. I thought he was going to be traded. I still think he's going to be traded. I don't know if it'll be the Giants. And I was going to make a video on that, but to me, there's not a lot of credibility there. It's just a mock draft. It's interesting to talk about the possibility, but I've done it already in the past. We'll see. I would say no, but I wouldn't rule it out. The Giants obviously have been open to making trades. They traded Odell Beckham. They traded Olivier Vernon. They traded Eli Apple. They've traded a lot of players, so, and they've had prior, supposed interest in Ngakoue, if you listen to the insiders. So, I wouldn't be shocked, but do I think it'll happen? Probably not. Where will Cam go? Jaguars, to me, make a lot of sense of the current teams that could use a quarterback. Maybe the Steelers, Patriots. There's a couple teams, but I honestly don't know where he's going to go. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up. What's going on, Benjamin? Thanks for popping in the stream. I wouldn't trade with Jacksonville unless Josh Allen was involved. Yeah, and he's not going to be involved because he's still on his rookie contract. The Jaguars are looking to rebuild. They still got him under salary control for another 4 years, so that's not going to happen. And I love Josh Allen. I'm with you on Josh Allen. And we got time with the $2 donation. He says, do you and Bad Dog have a name for y'all's show? We do. I need to say it more often. It's Chris and the Bad Dog. It's kind of like a play on words with Mike and the Mad Dog. It's Chris and the Bad Dog. Yes, I should put that in the title more often. But yeah, that was the name. Do you think 2 teams could trade back to the teams between the Bengals and the Giants so we could take Chase Young? No. I thought it was the only way it's possible, it would have to be 3 quarterbacks, first 3 picks. That's the only way I see it happening. Do I think that's a realistic possibility? No. Is it impossible? Nothing's impossible. But I would think you would need 2 teams to trade up for a quarterback for it to happen. And I don't think it's going to happen. Blue Jackets, thanks so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, any chance you buy a jersey if it's an old lineman? If it's an old lineman, I would not jump on it. My friend mistakenly jumped on the Eric Flowers old line jersey. And that was a horrible mistake on his part. I would not jump on an offensive lineman jersey. But if he proved to be good, yes, I would get an offensive lineman's jersey. Why not? I've never owned one, but yeah, I'd get an Andrew Thomas jersey if he was a good left tackle. Absolutely. But I would jump on the Simmons jersey, just like I jumped. I got the Barkley jersey as soon as I could when they drafted him. I think I got the jersey like 3 days after the draft. So, yeah, I would get a Simmons jersey right away. Tackle, I'd probably wait a little bit. Let's see what we got here. If the 2019 draft was today, would you take Haskins or Jones? Knowing what I would take Jones. Take Jones. I'm not saying I continue to be fair with Haskins. I'm much fairer with Dwayne Haskins than probably anybody else in the YouTube community. I still think Haskins could be good. I don't know if he's going to be. But I would take Jones. I would take Jones. What's going on, Sincere Blue? Thanks for popping in. We need a do-it-all player on offense. Yeah, somebody brought him up earlier. About it. Yes, Ken brought him up. Could be an interesting guy for sure in the later rounds. Good call. Yeah. My friend bought a Flowers jersey before he played. He's a big guy, so he always bought the linemen's. He had a Snacks Harrison. He had the big guys' jerseys, but yeah, he had a few linemen's jerseys, but he had an Eric Flowers jersey. I'm getting that Becton number 71 jersey, Cecil says. Haskins equals Geno Smith. It's looking more and more like that, Lucky, that's for sure. The art in your background is dope. I appreciate that, Doc Steele. It's just a picture that I got online. But yeah, it's cool. It's a cool picture. The purple sky. I like it. Joey Lutz in the chat. What's going on, Joe Lutz? You cannoli loving lunatic. What if you guys draft the best long snapper? We're not going to draft the long snapper. We just signed one. We signed, I don't remember the guy, Kreider, I think his name is. He's a Pro Bowler in 2018. So I don't think we're going to draft the long snapper. I had us projected to take one before we brought him in, being that Zach Diassi left, but I don't think we're drafting a long snapper. I just don't want Cam in Washington. I'd be sick if we had. He's not going to be in Washington. Michael, to tell you the truth, I would want Cam in Washington. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't improve the team this year, and I know he has ties to Ron Rivera, but I would rather them tie themselves into Cam Newton on a 3 or 4 year contract. Cam Newton's injury prone. He's a very good quarterback when he's healthy, but he's injury prone. He's up there in age, and he would stunt the growth of Dwayne Haskins. I think it would be a horrible decision by the Washington Redskins if they brought him in. Awful decision if they brought him in. It would make no sense, to be completely honest with you. They're not a win-now team. It would be a horrible decision. And I hope they do it. Let's see what we got here. Dang, I really wanted to see you guys freak out again, Ben. Yeah, I'm not freaking out this year. I'm gonna try my best anyway. I can't guarantee it. Bavit in the house, he says, we are months off from the NFL season and we have yet to get an on-set stream. What's the deal, big man? Probably after the draft. Probably do one of those. Probably do one of those after the draft where we talk anything but sports. Probably late May when there's not a lot of content to have some fun. Probably do one of those. Haskins played much better at the end of the season. He did. The last 3 or 4 games of the year, he played well. Cam would sweep us with Washington. Probably. I'm not saying that Cam's a bad quarterback, but I think for long term for the Washington Redskins, it would be a bad decision. I don't see the sense in it. He's had a lot of injuries. I think he's 30, 31. He's not what he was in terms of a mobile threat because of the injuries. And you have a young quarterback on your roster. Now, a lot of people think Haskins is going to fail, but you're completely giving up if you do that. And if you're going to, in my opinion, if I'm a Redskin fan, if you're going to completely give up on Dwayne Haskins, draft a quarterback. You could take Tua. Why would you sign Newton when Newton's going to be making double or triple what Tua is going to make? Like, if Haskins ain't your guy, draft Tua. Start from scratch. Have him on the rookie deal. Don't get damaged goods with Cam Newton. Bigger threat for the breakout season. Lorenzo Carter. I would go. To me, it depends on how they're used. I do think Lorenzo Carter could be very good in this defense. He's versatile. He could play a variety of different positions. But I would go with X-Man. I I do like X-Man a lot. How long will that? At least 11-15. Moose. I'll go to 11-15. Chase or I'm going. I gotta go Chase. What's your reaction when we take that? That would not be a good reaction. That one would be a bad one. But that's not going to happen. Let's be positive, please. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, Doc Steele. It makes no sense. It wouldn't make sense. Is Cano washed up on the Mets? Yes. Yes, that was a bad trade by the Mets. Not only did Cano suck, but Diaz sucked. That was a horrible trade by Brody. Not his finest moment, to say the least. Breaking news, we just signed another defensive tackle. Wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me. Breakout star, Ingram. If he stays healthy, I agree with you. I think when I said in my video today, when we talk versatility, I think a lot of people are just thinking about defense because, I think you think more about versatility on defense. But Evan Ingram is very versatile. If he's healthy and they use him the right way, I think he's a player that Joe Judge would be attracted to. but he's got to stay healthy. I think Ray Finkel's a hell of a kicker, but if we draft him, you got to make sure the laces are out. But Ray Finkel's a good kicker. Miami's interested, though, I heard. Miami's interested in Finkel. When you got Southerners on your channel, you are damn good. Kudos. I appreciate that, Rubber Nose Nose. I love the name, Rubber Nose Nose. Thank you very much. Yeah. No, I have a lot of Southern subscribers, and I have a lot of Southern subscribers that are New York Giant fans, as well as other fans as well. Yeah, I guess they like the New York accent. I don't know. Is there any no new news, at least from what I've seen, Tyler, on Harris. I read that yesterday. I think it was 2 days ago I read it. I made the video yesterday, but I haven't heard anything new since. Ingram has been the breakout star every year since drafted him, but he's more likely to break. Exactly. Pavid, I agree with you, and that's why I've been pretty outspoken of trading him if the right deal presented itself. But it's got to be the right deal. Unfortunately, my brain tells me, my heart tells me I want him to work out. He's a great guy. Whenever you see Evan Ingram in the huddle and behind the scenes, he seems like a leader. He seems like a team guy, and he's a great talent when he's on the field in terms of a pass catching option. My heart tells me this guy's going to be great, and you know the injuries are flukes and it'll work out. But my brain tells me no. And when you're a GM of a football team, you got to think with your brain. And if the right deal presents itself, I would trade him. But it's got to be the right deal. I wouldn't just trade him to trade him, like I always say. Josh Vittori, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, give me Blankenship at $2.55. Mr. I took him in one of my mocks. I think as Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah, let's do it. I'll roll with that, Josh. Thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate it. Is it possible to trade down twice and stay in the top 10? We got a lot of picks. Anything's possible, but how often do you see a team do that? And Dave Gettleman has never traded down once in his entire career as a general manager. Do you think he would trade down twice in the same draft? I guess there's a first time for anything, but I don't think it's going to happen. That's like Madden type stuff. I hope he does well for us, but I honestly don't believe he's long. I agree with you, Afghanistan. I hope he does well, but sometimes you got to think with your brain, man. DJ or Uncle, you got to go with Uncle Rico. I mean, I love Daniel Jones, but you got to go with Uncle Rico. He throws the ball over the mountains. MH says, do you want to draft a safety in the second round? I wouldn't be opposed to it. You know, right now I'm kind of on the center train, but if there's a center there that they feel like is not worth taking in the second round, say Ruiz is gone and say they don't have Cushenberry ranked that high on their chart and they want to wait till the third round. And yeah, I would not be opposed to a safety there. There's a few there that they could take. So, yeah, we could use a free safety. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Let's see what we got here. We need a wide receiver in the second. I don't think we're going to take one in the second round. I really don't. The other thing I continue to tell you guys, this is one of the deepest wide receiver drafts that we've had in a very long time. So, to me, I don't see the point of taking a wide receiver that early. Because we have bigger needs. And you could still get a productive one in the third, fourth, or fifth round. I mean, you look at the names that are going some of these mock drafts, these guys would be second-round picks in a lot of drafts. So, I don't see the need to take a wide receiver that early. Delpit or what? I really like Delpit, but Winfield is probably a better center fielder. It's a good question. I like both of them. McKinney I don't think will be there, but I'd be happy with either one of them if we went safety. Maybe leaning Winfield. We really absolutely agree. Draft a wide. Yeah, take a wide out late, and you could always take a wide receiver next year early if you need to, in the second round or even the first round. If there's a supreme talent there, I just think you need to fix your more important problems right now. Center field is football entertainment. Thoughts on Love and what position? I think he's going to play free safety right now, but if they go out there and they draft, an early free safety. That'll change, I do think that they'll get creative. I think he'll play a little slot. I think he'll move around. But right now, the roster currently constructed, I think he'll play free safety. Ask me that question after the draft. My opinion might change. Oh, Jay's Face. Thanks for the donation, man. I really appreciate that. He says, do you think AJ Epinesa drops to us in the second round? I did a video on that like a month ago. because I started to see him drop down mocks. And he was still going like 20, 22. And I got a lot of people in the comments say there's no way he goes to the second round. Every mock I look at now, he's going in the second round, or damn near close, or close to the second round. So yes, I do think AJ Epinesa could very well fall to the second round. Doesn't mean he will. He had a very poor combine. That's why his stock has dropped. He's not the best athlete in the world. I don't even know if the Giants would take him, but I do think he could be there in the second round. I don't know if he will be, but he could be. Yes, for sure. What is Garrett bringing to New York? What is Garrett bringing to New York? He's bringing experience. He's bringing a completely new offense. I mean, it is completely new offense. He's had success with quarterbacks in the past, quarterbacks with not the highest of expectations. It's what I'm drawn to, and the experience factor, like I said. And I think it's going to be a more of a run-heavy approach. I think they're going to focus on the offensive line like they did in Dallas. I think it's going to be similar to that because it's what you need. That's the other thing we got to factor in. Everybody, and I get it because Giants fans are defensive-minded. I'm defensive-minded, but everybody is thinking about the scheme on defense. You also got to think about the new scheme on offense. We're bringing in Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett's offense calls for vertical passing plays. It also calls for a heavy run approach. For us to be able to do those things, you have to be able to block. And you have to be able to block a hell of a lot better than we did the last couple of years. And in the last couple of years, even with McAdoo, we had systems in place to hide the deficiencies of the offensive line. McAdoo had the system where you got the ball out of the quarterback's hand every 2 seconds. Grab the ball, throw it. Grab the ball, throw it. It was short passing plays. The same can be said for Pat Shurmur. It was short throws over the middle. Garrett wants to throw more vertical plays. Well, vertical routes take longer to develop than, quick slant patterns. So that's another thing I think people need to think about when they say that we shouldn't take an offensive lineman. I'm just saying. I like to present both sides of the argument. Jersey Joy with the $10 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, calling it a night, Chris. Hey, any angst knowing the draft will be remote and we have Getty, who isn't too bright with the technology stuff. Say well. I really appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you for being such a great subscriber. And yes, I actually jokingly was talking about that, I think on Discord today. It was either Discord or Twitter. And I said, I'm a little nervous that maybe he'll think he's drafting Isaiah Simmons in number 4 overall, and he'll take some other guy named Isaiah who's like a 6th-round prospect. I am a little worried about that. Have a great night, Jersey Joey. And Moose Dad with the $2 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, Chris, are we doing group home games? Are we doing group home games together? Group home games. Do you mean meeting up in person? Yes, I plan on doing that at least once, if not twice this year. I want to do it at least once, as long as it's safe and people feel comfortable going to football games. Yes, I plan on doing that. Let's see what we got here. Isaiah Hodgins. I like Isaiah Hodgins. I think he's a good prospect in the later rounds at the receiver position. We do have a fullback. We kept Penny. We do have a fullback. What's going on, OTB mods? Will week 1 be packed? I would guess no. To be honest with you, I would guess no. Week 1 probably won't be packed. I think even after this pandemic or whatever they're calling it is done, I think you're still going to have people that are going to be reluctant to go out, and I can't blame them. So I do think attendance will suffer this year, not just for the NFL, but for anything, whether it's a movie theater, a Broadway play, anything where you're with a group of people. I do think it'll suffer this year, for sure. I think Tyler Johnson will be the best value pick in the draft. Thoughts on him? I don't know if the Giants would take him because, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's 6'1", maybe 6'2". So I think they're looking for a taller option there. But yeah, I think he in the probably back end of the 3rd, early 4th. I like him, but I don't know if he's the type of receiver the Giants are looking for. Do I live in New York? Yes. Who do you like better, Wirfs or Wills? I'm leaning Wills, but I think Wirfs has great upside. But I'm leaning Wills because I think he's a better chance he's a left tackle. But I like both. Who you got the Patriots going first? I mean, that's tough to say. It depends on who's there. They go Jordan Love. They could take a tight end. They go defense. They certainly could use an edge rusher. There's a lot of ways they could go, man. They took a wide receiver last year in the 1st round, so I don't think they'd do that again. But they could definitely take a quarterback. Like, if Jordan Love's there, they could definitely take a quarterback. Becton or Ruiz? I'm going Ruiz. I'm hoping we have a left tackle by then, but that's hard. I guess I'd have to go Becton. If we didn't take a tackle in the first and Becton was there at 36, I'd have to go Becton. Yeah, I'd have to go Becton. But realistically speaking, knowing that Becton will not be there, I would rather have Ruiz on the team. Let's see what we got here. NFL blind eye about upcoming season. What's NFL's backup plan? I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Ryan says, how do you feel about the Giants trading back, grabbing a tackle, and then trade back into the first for a center? I personally would not want to trade back into the first for a center. I would sooner wait, knowing that more than likely you're, like, if you were dead set on a center, even if you don't get Ruiz, more than likely Cushenberry will be there. I would rather wait than give up draft capital. Just my personal opinion. Mountain, thanks so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, could Fleming beat out Solder if we draft Wills? It's a good question, Mountain. I don't think so. Not coming out of camp. Now, if Solder sucks, I think Solder's going to be the starter. Day one. The guy's making $20 million. And in fairness to Solder, the year before, for half a season, he was really good. Last year, he was not. And you can make excuses for him, but regardless, he didn't play well. I do think Solder will get the nod coming out of training camp to be the left tackle. But if he's really bad the first 3-4 weeks, he definitely could be replaced. Whether it's Gates, whether it's Fleming. I don't think he has a pass for the whole season. I'll say that. And Tyler, thanks so much for the $5 donation. I really appreciate that. He says, I have to head out. Love watching the videos, man. Stay safe and go Giants. I really appreciate that, Tyler, man. I'll try to have another video up for you guys tomorrow. At least one, if not two. I'll probably talk about the Tua thing. Probably should have done that today. Just didn't have enough time. But I'll talk about that and the effect it could have on the draft and things like that. And I'm sure I'll have a couple other videos out as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. So thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate it. John Smith in the house. What's going on, John? Great supporter of my $5 donation. He says, what is one player that is being mocked as an early pick that you think will go significantly later? Example, Greedy Williams last year. And another example to that would be a guy like Cody Ford last year, a guy like Jawan Taylor last year. If there's a guy, the first name that pops to my head, John, I would guess either a tackle or a quarterback. Because those always seem to be the types of positions that fall more so than any other. Like you said, Greedy Williams fell last year at the cornerback position. But if I had to guess, Tua, I think could fall because of his injuries. A lot of people have him penciled in to be a top 5 pick. I would not be shocked if he falls to the back end of the first. I'm not saying he's going to. Becton is another guy. A lot of people have him penciled in to be a top 10 pick, 12 pick. I could see him falling to the back end of the first round. Maybe 26 to Miami. Those are two guys that pop off the top of my head when you ask me that question. Maybe Okudah goes further down than people think. I don't think he's falling out of the first round by any stretch of the imagination. But maybe Okudah falls out of the top 10. Derek Brown's another guy. I think a lot of people think Derek Brown's going to go like 9 or 7. Maybe Derek Brown goes in the 16 to 20 area. Those are some names that I would say that have the highest probability of going further down than people think. Those would be my guys. Maybe Patrick Queen could drop further than people think. Maybe he could be a mid-second round pick. Those are some guys. But thanks for the love, man. I appreciate it. And we got time with the $2 donation. How I get the name in the raffle to be on you're going to be on the channel. I can't have everybody on at once. I already told Lloyd he's going to be on. I already promised the next guy, the guy that got me the interview with Sal Licata, he's going to be on. But I'll definitely have you on soon. As soon as I can. I will have you on, I promise you. And I know you got a YouTube channel there over yourself. So I'm definitely looking forward to having you on the channel. Hopefully within a month, 4 or 5 weeks. I'm going to have a new guy on every week. A new subscriber on. So I'll definitely have you on. And I'm looking forward to having a lot of people on, man. Because like I say, that's what I try to do. I try to create a channel for the fans. Just, to have fun, talk Giants football. So I'm looking forward to talking with a lot of you guys. OC is better than Tuck. I actually think Tuck's better than OC. That's just my opinion. But I'm a huge Tuck fan, so I'm biased. I think OC is better as a pure pass rusher. He's better in terms of strip sacks. I think Tuck was the better all-around player and a better leader. So I actually prefer Tuck to OC. but OC was a better pure pass rusher. I'll give it to you there. And then we got time. Thanks, Philip, man. I really appreciate it. $2 donation. He says, no worries, man. Just don't forget me. I'm definitely not going to forget you, man. Checking out for tonight. Great job as always, especially during these times. You're such a great listen. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to everybody for being here. And I'll continue to do this, man, as long as this is going on, and try to give you guys something to watch and listen to. Obviously, after the draft, I don't know what we'll talk about. We'll talk still Giants and broad sports, whatever you guys want to talk about, but I'll definitely be doing this, man. You guys will keep me sane, just like I hope I'm doing for you guys. So thanks for being here, buddy. And I appreciate that, Moose. Justin, I think Justin Tuck was the better overall player. I think OC was the better pure pass rusher. Plax or Nix? I gotta go Plax. Nix's career was too short-lived. He had the injury problems, but I think you could at least make an argument that Nix, when he was at his best before the injuries, might have been better than Plax. Plax was a great receiver, though. I gotta go Plax. As much as I hate when he shot himself in the foot, Plax was a talented receiver with the Steelers too. I'd have to go Plax. When will you be live? I think I'm gonna be live on Bad Dogs either tomorrow or Friday. I'm not sure which day we're gonna do that for the Talking Giants, and then I'll probably be live back on here Saturday, and then Monday I'll do the mock draft. So I'll have another one of these hangouts on Saturday. Do the mock draft Monday, then do it. That's probably going to be my schedule going forward, at least for the next week. Monday, mock draft live stream. Wednesday, this. Saturday, this. 3 days a week. Then leading up into the draft, we'll probably be live five days a week. It'll be a lot because everybody's going to be amped up for the draft. Entertainer Thomas. I got to go with Tony Shits. Tony Shits is fantastic. Which out of left field pick at 4 is most possible? Yeah, I don't know how far out of left field we're talking. If we're talking remote possibility, I guess Derek Brown. It's like 2%. Jerry Jeudy. Caleb on Chason. That's the one guy I've pointed to that is a complete off-the-wall pick that I think fits the defensive scheme that they could be in love with. I don't see it. I don't think it's going to happen. But those would be the 3 names I'd throw at you. CeeDee Lamb or I got to go Jeudy, but they're both great talents. It's flipping a coin. To be honest, if we do not get Isaiah Simmons, I'm going to cry and break my teeth. Do not do that, Harrison Richards. Do not do that. But I'm starting to lean that they're going to take Simmons. I definitely don't think it's a definitive answer, though. He asked me for a surprise at 4. These are not players that I think they're going to take. He asked me for a surprise. If I had to pick a guy that would be a surprise, I don't think any of the tackles would be a surprise. I don't think Isaiah Simmons would be a surprise. I don't think Okudah would be a surprise. I think most people think he's a top 5 or 6 talent. So he asked me for a surprise. A surprise would be somebody like Calais Farrell last year, a guy that nobody viewed as a top 10 prospect that went forth to the Raiders. So to me, those are surprises. Do I think they'll happen? No. But, those are surprises. Those are the surprises that I think could make the most sense. Let's put it that way. No, I'm talking as the out of left field pick, Jeudy or Lamb at 4. Yeah, I think that would be one of my options out of the left field. Yeah, I don't want another left defensive tackle. Believe me. If you could run a draft for a team, would you rather run the Knicks or the Giants draft? I think the NFL draft's more interesting. It's much more challenging. There's a lot more picks. Basketball's only 2 picks, and the second pick generally never amounts to anything, more often than not. Usually your impact player is a first-round pick. The NBA draft, I love the NBA, but the NBA draft, if you're picking outside of the top 15, there's a good chance that player is not going to have much of an impact on your team. Even at 15. You look at Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox was 9th. He hasn't done anything with the Knicks yet, so... The NFL, I think, is a much higher success rate in terms of late-round draft picks. Defensive end is the only position in football where you can take plays off and nobody will even notice. You're probably right. Yes, you're probably right. Did you become a Mets fan so you can hate more Philly teams? No, I became a Mets fan. Real quick, my Mets story. I was a very good baseball player as a kid, but I was not huge into baseball until I was about 11 in terms of watching it. And I went to a Subway Series game, I think when I was 11 or 12. And it's still to this day probably the best game I've ever been to live. It was Mets-Yankees, and it was at Shea. And at the time, I kind of didn't really have a team. I rooted for both teams, I guess, and back and forth the entire game. Yankees hit like 5 home runs, and the Mets just kept coming back, kept coming back. Piazza hit a big home run, and they were down. I think they were down 8-7 in the ninth, and Mariano Rivera was pitching, who at the time was the best closer in baseball, still the best closer ever. And I think at the time it hadn't blown a save in over a year. And the Mets had a rally, 2 outs, second and third, down 1 run, and they brought up Matt Franco, who was the best pinch hitter in baseball at the time. And he got a seeing eye single between first and second base, and the Mets won the game. And I just became a Met fan after that. I became a diehard Met fan, and it was one of the worst mistakes I ever made in my life. But it is what it is. I bleed orange and blue when it comes to baseball, and maybe one day I'll get to see what a championship feels like. What's going on, Peter Biscardi? Would it matter to you if they played games without fans present? I mean, it wouldn't be the same atmosphere, right? But at the end of the day, if the option is no football or football with nobody in the stands, I'm taking football with nobody in the stands. Obviously, it's not the same effect. Chris, don't say Simmons is the pick. I was on the Simmons train, and you convinced me otherwise to pick the line. Stay the course, bro. Oh, I'm not saying I would take Simmons. I'm saying if you ask me right now, I'm slightly leaning. I'm not even definitively leaning. I'm slightly leaning that they're going to take Isaiah Simmons. But I still think it's very close to 50-50, tackle or Simmons. How long do you think Barkley's career will last past the second contract? That's so hard to predict, specifically the running back position, because running backs could break down at any point. I mean, of course, we're hoping and praying he lasts like Adrian Peterson did till 32, 33. And if there was a running back that can do that, it's certainly him. He's a physical specimen. He's a freak. He takes care of his body, and he's an elite talent, right? I don't even think a Cowboy fan would debate it, if they're being completely honest and unbiased, that he is probably the most talented athlete at the running back position in football right now. He's just a freak. So I do think he'll last at least through the second contract, unless we get horrible luck. After that, there's no telling. But I think he'll last till at least 29 as a top-tier talent. And then after that, there's no telling. But if there's one that's capable of going till 32, 33 at a high level, I think it's him. Chris, can you rank your tackles 1 to 4? Right now, I think I got Wills 1. I got Thomas 2. I got Wirfs 3, and I got Becton 4. But the top 3 are very close. Did Dave make any predictable draft picks with Carolina? I'd have to think back about that. I mean, I know he took a couple of wide receivers. He took Benjamin. He took the guy that played for the Colts last year. I can't remember his name. I think it was a first-round pick. Funches. He took Kawan Short. I think was like a third-round pick. That was a good one, D tackle. Obviously, he took Bradbury in the second. I'm not sure if he took Keek. I think Keek was before he got there. Yeah, I don't know who else he took. I'd have to take a look at the draft chart. But I know he took 2 first-round receivers while he was there. Let's see what we got here. Your channel has grown tremendously, guys. 270. Yeah, I appreciate it, Sincere Blue. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, man. We had like 350. I know it's starting to wear down. We've been live for 2.5 hours. But, yeah, I mean, I appreciate all you guys, man. And, like I said, I'll do this all year, man. You guys keep coming back. I'll keep doing it, man. I love talking sports. I love hanging out with you guys. And I love making videos. So I'm going to keep doing what I love to do. And I appreciate all you guys who support my channel. Even right now, well, I guess it's easy to support my channel right now. There's not much else to watch. But I appreciate you guys for being here. NFC East owners, who would win in a cage match? I got to go with Mara, man. I got to go with Mara. I'm not taking Jones over Mara. I do not. I do not have a girl. I'm single and mingling. Right now, I'm not mingling much, though, because of this. Imagine Jeff Okudah and James Bradbury locking down the secondary. I mean, that'd be great, but I honestly don't want to take a corner after we sign Bradbury. We have too many needs. We may get that receiver from Baylor. I like Denzel Mims a lot. I won't cry if we take Mims in the second round. I don't think he's going to get there, but he could. He had a really strong combine. I like Denzel Mims. I don't want to take him, but I won't be upset if they do. Great chat. JG's is the man. What's going on, JG's? Thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate it, man. Do you think that since the draft is virtual and teams could not get as much info on a variety of players, there will be less out of the left field prospects like Clay? That's actually a really good point, Ryan. That's a great point. I didn't even think about that because obviously you're not going to have the pro days. You're not going to. So there, you may have teams that go more with the initial thought process going in. That's a really good point. Maybe you won't go to a pro day and get blown away. Matter of fact, you can make an argument, and I know, if you go back, the Giants were enamored with Daniel Jones in the Senior Bowl, but his pro day was fantastic. I remember his combine was His pro day was amazing. I remember they were talking about that, not just for the Giants, but teams were impressed with that. If we had this virus last year, maybe Daniel Jones is not a New York Giant. That's a really good point you bring up, Brian. Really good point. Let's see what we got here. Starting defense as of right now. Okay, well, first off, I need to know what formation we're running, but let's say it's the 3-4. If they're running a 3-4, I think you got Dalvin in the center. I think you got Leo and Dexter on the ends. Linebacker, if he's healthy, I would say Martinez and Conley in the middle. On the edge, I think it's a rotation of the three: Zimenez, Fackrell, and Lorenzo Carter. At the corner, obviously Bradbury's the one, Baker's the two. And then obviously Peppers and Love, and then you'll mix and match some other players as well. But I think that's what you're looking at right now as a base defense. Beal will play some as well. Yeah, but I think that's what you're looking at. You thought Getty was taking Jones since they very well may have been. When will the Giants be relevant? I mean, maybe next year. You never know. But I think if we're being realistic, I think 2021 is the year where we could start to really take big strides. If they bring back the red jerseys, I do not bring back the red jerseys. Please do not bring back the red jerseys. Please do not bring back the red jerseys. Are there any players who you have your eye on or targeting for the next draft? To be completely honest with you, Dawn, I've heard a couple of names. I've heard about that great tackle prospect. But to be completely honest with you, I haven't done enough research on next year's draft. I am going to do a video looking at next year's free agents after the draft. That was actually suggested by JG's. I'm definitely going to do that video. And maybe I'll start to look at next year's draft after this year's draft. But I'm not, I follow college when I need to now that I have a channel. I was never a huge college guy. But yeah, maybe I'll start looking into that after the draft. But I don't know enough yet about next year's prospects. Ogletree isn't going. No, I don't think Ogletree. I don't. What do you mean? Oh, wait, I read that. I read that wrong. What do you mean Ogletree isn't going? You mean he's not signing on? Has Ogletree signed on with any? I don't think he has. Ogletree's done. Ogletree was a bad trade. Bad trade. Giants are way further ahead than some may think. I think they're 2 years away, but I think this year they could surprise people. I wouldn't disagree with that. But I think they're 2 years away from being a real contender. I hate the red jerseys. Do you think college football? I mean, if the pros play, then college will play. I think there's money to be generated. I think college will play if the pros are playing. Which free safeties in this draft do you think are worthwhile? We need a ball. I mean, all the guys you hear about in round two. Those three safeties. Those if they want a supreme safety, those are the guys you're looking at. Winfield might be the best center fielder. That might be the guy if that's the type of player they're looking for. Oh, man, thank you so much, man. JG's always. Thank you so much for being a great subscriber. He says, I love the 80s unis, especially I love the Giants written across the side. I'm a huge fan of that. I remember growing up as a kid with that. I remember, just like anything else, Jay, when the Giants changed the logo, I loved it because it was new and it was fresh. But now looking back at it, I like the old one better. I'm with you on that. The Giants across the side. I do like that look better with the underline and I like the old school jersey as well for sure. I'm with you. Although I continue to say I think our color rush jersey is the best in the league. The clean white jersey, I love it. I got to get one. I love the color rush jersey, but the old school Giants jersey, I'm with you. I think it's a better jersey than the one we currently have. Do you think the double trade down is possible? I do not. I mean, anything's possible, but I don't think it's even remotely realistic. Redesign the home jersey. Yeah, a lot of my subscribers have asked me to do a video on that, and I'll probably do that in the off season. It's something I got to think about. Maybe I'll look up alternate logos online. But yeah, I like. I don't hate this jersey, but I wouldn't mind changing the logo. I wouldn't mind doing that. How much longer will you be probably another 10, 20 minutes. It's 11:06. I'll probably go to like 11:20, 11:25. What's your favorite sports moment? My favorite sports moment. All right. I'll give you my favorite sports moment from my 3 individual teams. The Giants, it's got to be. I don't know, man. There are so many great Giants moments. Wow. It's so hard for me to give you one because, the Tyree catch is there. The Manningham throw, I always say the Manningham throw because I think it was the throw more so than the catch, even though it was a great catch. But the Manningham throw, the Tyree catch, obviously up there. Obviously knocking off the undefeated Patriots has to be up there. But I always say it. I don't hide it. I love Eli Manning. And the signature game for Eli Manning, I always say is actually probably both championship games, but more so the 49ers game. And that is a game, that's probably my favorite game. Just the toughness he displayed that entire game. You go back and watch that. For anybody that's a young Giant fan that hasn't watched that game, you got the Game Pass right now. You go back and watch Eli Manning, the beating that he took in that game. That's probably my favorite individual Giant game. In terms of one individual play, I've got to go with either the Tyree catch or the Manningham throw. Basketball, I don't have a lot of great moments. I guess I'll go with the John Starks dunk when I was a kid. And as far as baseball with the Mets, again, not a lot of fantastic moments, but the one thing that sticks out to me, at least recently, is just that incredible run that Daniel Murphy went on in the 2015 playoffs when he was hitting a home run. He hit a home run 7 games straight against the best pitchers in baseball. He hit a home run. He hit 2 home runs off Kershaw. He hit a home run off Lester. He hit a home run off Arrieta. He hit a home run off of Greinke. He hit a home run 7 consecutive games, I think it was, against like the 7 best pitchers in baseball. It's probably the single greatest postseason accomplishment by an individual player ever, what he was able to do on that run. So, from a Mets fan, that's what sticks out for me. But the Giants, and the Andy Chavez catch, but of course it resulted in a loss. But, for the Giants, I got to go with those. Let's see what we got here. The Knicks. Yeah, exactly. Would you prefer the current gray pants or the white pants? I like the gray pants, actually. It's weird. I actually like the gray uniforms with the Mets as well. I like the gray look for some reason. I like the gray pants. Let's see what it compare. You mean all of our second year players to NFL players? That's so hard for me to do. That's so hard for me to do. I got to see more of them and the way that they're going to be implemented in these systems. Daniel Jones, I say it all the time. I see a little bit of Tony Romo in him. I see a little Alex Smith with a stronger arm. Who else we got? Darius Slayton. Tyrell Williams. I think Sonor brought that up to me. I don't know if he's in here, but Tyrell Williams I think is a pretty fair comparison to Darius Slayton. Let's see. Who else we got? Lawrence? I'm trying to think of a player that's like Lawrence off the top of my head. He's not like Snacks because he's more versatile. He could pop on the outside. I don't know. I'd have to think about Lawrence. And DeAndre Baker, I don't know. I can't. I don't want to jump the gun on him. I got to see more out of him. I got to see better. But he's a press corner. So, but those are a couple of guys. Cox, yeah, maybe Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox is phenomenal. I hope it's like Fletcher Cox. Calais Campbell, that's a good one. Calais Campbell's a good one for Dexter Lawrence. I like that one. Good one. Wilfork's not bad either. How do you feel about MetLife Stadium? I don't really like the way it looks on the outside. In terms of the inside, it's cool. Football stadiums to me, and I've only been to 3, but football stadiums to me are kind of all the same. Once you get inside. Obviously, some have newer amenities and things like that. Baseball stadiums is really where it's unique. Like when you go to a baseball ballpark, each one has its own different vibe and feel. I actually love going to baseball stadiums. I think I've been to 12. But as far as football goes, the outside kind of looks weird. It looks like a spaceship almost. I wasn't really a fan of the architecture that they did with the new MetLife Stadium when they first built it. I thought it looked weird. But yeah, and I'm more of a fan of the baseball stadiums because they're all unique and different. Oh, thank you so much for the $20 donation. I really appreciate that. He says the Cowboy Stadium is insane. I've never been into the Cowboy Stadium, but on TV, I would agree that it does stand out. It's got the huge television screen. Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure. Everything's bigger in Dallas. That's what they say. Yeah, that's definitely one that stands out. I'm not a huge fan of MetLife Stadium, though, if I'm being completely honest. Obviously, I like going there. It's the Giants Stadium, but I thought they could have done a better job. Rubber Nose was nice to me. I don't know if he's talking to somebody in the chat. Maybe he's talking to somebody in the chat, because he was nice to me before. And now I see he's saying, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Did you play football after Pee Wee? New York for Life with the $2 donation says, let's do a Subway. I would love to do a Subway Series meetup. And yes, I did play football after Pee Wee, if you're asking me. I did not play high school football. I focused more on baseball, but I played football up until about 14. It was not my first sport. Baseball was my first sport. Let's see what we got here. Do you want us to trade back? Do I want us to trade back? Yes. Ideally, I do want us to trade back. Whether it's and thank you again, Danny Dimes, for the donation. I don't know if I said it. I think I did, but thank you again. I would like us to trade back if the right deal presented itself. Whether it's 6, whether it's 9. Yes, I think the right situation is to trade back. He says, I'm your friend, trust me. I think you're my friend. I know. But no, my best sport growing up was baseball. I was too skinny I wanted to play football. I was too thin, and I focused on baseball. I was like 130 pounds in high school. Now I'm trying to lose weight, and I'm doing well. Actually, I'm down to 199.6. I started like 2 months ago at 216.2. I'm at 199.6 this morning, so I'm trying to get to 180 by June 1st. But when I was in high school, it was like 125, 130 pounds soaking wet. What's my 40 time? Like 10. No, I don't know. I'm decently fast, but not like a real athlete. Did you hear about the collective bargaining agreement? They're going to be able to bet in stadiums like racetracks, split the money. Yeah, I did not hear about that. But one thing I will say, if you go to MetLife Stadium, I haven't been in it yet, but they've got the what's the name of it? They've got that they got the sports book. It's right on the grounds. There's like a bar. There's like a sports bar, but it's a sports book. You could literally bet 1,000 feet from the stadium right now when you go to a Giant game. I didn't know that when I went. Otherwise, I probably would have placed a bet on the game. But yeah, you can actually make bets at not in the stadium, but very close to inside the stadium. Doesn't mean I like you. I don't. That's okay. You don't have to like me. I just appreciate you for hanging out. I was 216 made by kicks about 2 months ago. I was 216.2, and now I'm 199.6. And I made a deal after Bad Dog did his 24-hour stream. I made a deal on my live stream because all my subscribers are like, oh, I want you to do a 24-hour stream. I said I'll never do a 24-hour stream. And then I was like, I need incentive to lose weight. I said, you know what? I will do a 24-hour stream if I do not reach 180 pounds by June 1st. And I'm not doing that good of a job. I'm really not on pace right now because this thing slowed me down because I got to be staying inside, but I'm still exercising and eating healthy. And I'm a little behind the pace that I wanted to be at. So I got to lose 19.6 more pounds in the next 50 days or so. So the 52 days, I think. So it's not going to be easy, but hopefully I get it done. I did play basketball, yes. I played basketball until I actually played junior varsity. I didn't play varsity, but I played it when I was like 15, 16. Love seeing Sal. Yeah, Sal's a great guy, man. I know a lot of people don't like because he's outspoken and he's in your face, and a lot of my subscribers tell me that before I did the episode. Sal's a really nice guy. He didn't have to do that. He took the time out of his day to come onto a YouTube guy. You know, who am I? You know, in the grand scheme of things. So he was really nice to come on and talk sports with me, and I had a lot of fun with him, man. And he said he'd do it again, hopefully with the Mets and maybe after the draft. And I'm hoping to, you know, I got to do a better job of that myself. One of my subscribers did that for me. They reached out to him for me. I got to start reaching out to some people. You know, I don't think I'm going to be able to get like Daniel Jones, but I try to reach out to some people, whether it's, you know, people in the media or players, and try to get some people on the channel. It was a lot of fun. And JG's, man, thank you so much, man, for love, man. I really appreciate it, man. He says some of my top players: Leonard Marshall top plays. Leonard Marshall sacking Montana, Tyreek Edge, O.J. Anderson winding up and uppercutting a defender with his forearm in the bowl. BJ trucking Laron Landry. I was at the game. Bavaro. See, I didn't get to see the Bavaro. You know, I only saw the highlights, but yeah, that's a great one. The Bavaro one is one of the best plays in Giants history. Yeah, that guy was a monster. He was an animal. He carried the entire defense on that play, JG. So I'm completely with you on that one. That's a play that I will actually watch a lot sometimes when I go back and watch Giants all-time great plays, for sure. And thanks so much for love, man. I really appreciate it, man. 216 pounds. You look like a man. And Maximo with the $5 donation. He says, we need to make a video of a couple of you guys doing combine work. Let's see who's the best athlete. I'm all for it, Maximo. I actually thought about doing that as a joke. I never did it. And I can't do it right now. But I thought about doing that as a joke when Rosas, I almost did it. I was like, I don't know if the people who come to my channel would enjoy that, because I've kind of tried to make it more, you know, serious sports content. But as a joke, like week 13, week 14, week 15, when Rosas was doing really bad, I almost made a video of me trying to kick field goals to try to make the New York Giants as a joke. Because he was missing like 3 field goals every week. But I didn't end up doing it. But maybe I'll do something like that for fun as a joke this year. Kick field goals, something like that. And Blue Jackets, thank you so much, man, for the $2 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, please collab with Jet Central guy. I would love to, man. I got to reach out to JC. I would love to. JC is one of my favorite guys on YouTube. One of the first guys I ever collabed with. You should reach out to EDP. If EDP would want to work with me, I'm all for it. I'm completely for it if EDP would want to work with me. I don't feel like I'm in the same stratosphere as EDP, so I don't think I would reach out to him. But if people went onto his channel and he wanted to do it, of course I'd work with EDP. Give me Bad Dog on the bench press. Chris, I'll take you in the 3. I'm not beating Bad Dog on the bench press. When I was in the best shape of my life and I was working out religiously, I was probably about 180, and I was benching about, I think, 240 like 3 or 4 times. That's probably the best shape I've ever been in. I would imagine Bad Dog probably benches more than that. Daniel Jones and Saquon will be for you. From your lips to God's ears, David. That would be incredible if I could ever get them on. We're going to have Sexy Dexy in here someday. I hope so, man. Celtics or Nets? None of the above? I guess the Nets, but none of the above. I'm a Knicks fan. I don't like either one. Shout out, Tainer, for all the hard work. I appreciate it. Nikki, what's going on? I don't know if you've been here already, but thank you. Thank you for popping in. If you were to throw Evan Ingram to the wide receiver spot, do you see Levine Toilolo as a big weapon for Daniel? No, I don't. LeVar. No, Caden Smith, if anybody's going to be a big weapon outside of Evan Ingram at the tight end spot, it'll be Caden Smith. Levine Toilolo may be a red zone threat. I think he's like 6'7", and he has sure hands, but he's not really quick. They brought him in here to block and maybe to be a threat on the red zone. He's not going to be a guy that catches more than, for like 150, 200 yards, I don't think. I think if somebody's going to be the tight end that breaks out statistically, I think it'll be Smith if it's not Evan Ingram. Yeah, no, I don't think, by no means do I think Evan Ingram should be a full-time wide receiver. I do think they should get a little more creative with him. Line him up on the outside here and there when the opportunity presents itself. Line him up as an H-back, maybe a little bit more open. Put him in the slot. I think he is a versatile player that you can move around, but I agree that I don't think Evan Ingram is suited to be a full-time wide receiver. I agree with that. Ring my bell. Nikki, all right, just for you, Nikki. Will you ring my bell? Ring my bell. Anybody new to the channel, please hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. Why don't we just sign some 7-foot, 300-pound jump ball threat for the red zone only? Like in lacrosse? What's going on, Mark D? And when I say lacrosse, I didn't play lacrosse, but my friends did. There's a position when you play lacrosse that the guy only comes in for face-offs and nothing else. So the Giants would bring in somebody just for red zone jump balls and nothing else. What's up, DJB? Deuces, my Giants family. 15 days left. Stay safe. You too, Antoine. Can I reach out to prospects for you to interview or current job? Absolutely. Anybody that wants to do that, go ahead, please. What's up, Big Daddy? I think I said hello to Big Daddy. I hope I said hello to Big Daddy already. I love Big Daddy. Who do you think could run over hot coals quicker, Cruz, Knicks, or Manningham? Probably Cruz. Man, I can't believe I missed this just getting home from work. Ricardo, it was fun. A lot of good questions tonight. A lot of good conversation. So, once it's posted on the page, I think it usually takes like an hour and a half, 2 hours. You can listen back, man. I appreciate you popping in, man. Hope you're staying safe out there. Have a good one, Suze. The Wuggle says you're a good singer. I appreciate that, man. What's your name? Chris. My name's Chris. Rubber Nose. Collab with Ed Oliver's a guy I need to collab with. He's one of the better Redskins YouTubers. I would love to collab with Ed Oliver. I will reach out to him. I will collab with Ed Oliver. That's a good one. My boy got pipes. Hats off. I appreciate that, Adam Hodge. Nice to have you, brother. Yeah, Dave, I appreciate it. Ring my bell. I just did it, DJB. I literally just did it. What was tonight's topic? I mean, it was everything. I mean, whatever it was obviously mainly draft talk. It was free agent talk, but a lot of good conversation. I had a lot of fun. A lot of fun tonight. Oh, Ryan, man, thanks so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate that. Ed Oliver, no. Ed Oliver's a Redskins YouTuber, but he's really good. Yeah, he's one of my favorite Redskins. I don't watch him a lot because I'm always busy, but making my own stuff. But when I do watch him, he's probably the best Well, HCTR is really good too, but Ed Oliver's really good. I'd like to have him on. I would love to have Ed Oliver, the Bill, on. I loved him last year as a prospect. Ryan Feldman with the $2 donation says, "Are you a New York Islanders fan?" I'm not a huge New York hockey fan at all. But if I had to pick a team, I would pick the Islanders. Yes. But I'm not a big hockey guy. I definitely prefer the other three sports. Have a great one, Moose. I don't know if I said goodbye to you already. Have a great one. What's going on, Seth? Thanks for popping in, man. I'm going to be live for I'll go till 11:30. I'll be live for 6 more minutes. Glad to see you here, Seth, man. Thanks for popping in the stream. What do you think of A.J. Dillon? A.J. Dillon is a guy that I've talked about time and time again. Out of all the late-round prospects, is the guy that I like the most because he's the type of running back that I want. I want that thumper. He's freaking 247 pounds, 6 foot. That's the type of guy I want if we're going to take a running back. So I'm a fan of A.J. Dillon in the 6th round. Sorry for being late, but Frost, are you kidding me? Thanks for being here, buddy. Thanks for watching my videos. JG said, Chris, you're most likely a Falcon fan. I am not a Falcon fan. I can guarantee you that. I feel bad for Falcons fans. JG says, do a collab with Eric Flowers. That would be the worst collab ever. Actually, if one of my streams is a joke, I set up a garbage can and I started dumping Eric Flowers' head in the garbage can. I put it on the green screen. I would trash Eric Flowers. I'm a nice guy when I bring people on. I don't think I could be nice to Eric Flowers, especially after how we talked about New York Giant fans. That would not be a fun collab. Eric Flowers would never come back on my channel, and he'd probably get the entire Washington Redskins team to give me a thumbs down in every one of my videos after that. I don't think I'd want to collab with Eric Flowers. What do you think of Matt? He's a decent center prospect in the later rounds, like the 4th round area. Yeah, decent center prospect. Joseph, have a great night, buddy. Yeah, Piss on Afghanistan says, I'd love to collab with Landon Collins so I could talk to... Oh, God, Landon Collins, that'd be fun. Would love to get on the channel and make a vid comparing our mock drafts and some Giants talk. Yeah, I mean, I'm having 1 subscriber a week. You know, that's what I figured is fair. I don't want to overdo it because then it becomes, I guess, less special and then it just becomes redundant. But I want to have 1 subscriber a week on the channel, and I think that's going to be a mainstay. I had a lot of fun doing that. If you haven't done so, go check it out. That was a lot of fun. He was a great guy that gave me the idea, and he did a great job. I love talking to him, and yeah, I want to do that once a week, though. So I'm going to have a new subscriber on every week. Andrew Christopher with the hi. What's going on, man? Hi. Hola. Seth says, what's the deal with the Yannick trade? To me, I don't read too much into it. I really don't. I don't read too much into that trade, Seth. It was a mock draft. I haven't seen anything else outside of that. I do think he's going to get traded. I don't know if it'll be the Giants, but it's not like it's closer to it being the Giants than ever before, in my opinion. Collab with Ben Mac. Oh, God, that would be ugly, too. Ben McAdoo. Ben Mac is shit, as I called him when I first started YouTube. Who would you like to draft in the later rounds? There's a lot of guys. We'll talk about that on Monday. I've talked about a bunch of the prospects throughout this stream, but a lot of the guys I've mentioned already. I mean, Tusk out of North Dakota State's a guy I really like. There's a number of guys, but we'll talk about that more on Monday when I do another mock draft, and we'll try to come up with different scenarios this week. That was a lot of fun. I'd pay $10 if you could go silent for 20 seconds. I gave you 2 extra seconds. Collab with Eli Apple's mom. Oh God, Eli Apple, the worst. What's up, Moose? Thanks for popping back in, and we're gonna Well, Wuggle says, you've got to be kidding me. How do you take damage? Yeah. I know. What's up, BS? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Jake says, pay the man. Is Cam Fleming at least an average starter? No, he's a swing tackle, and he's a swing tackle for a reason. What's the beat thing about Ben McAdoo besides his hair? What's the Ben McAdoo? Ben McAdoo became he became a different person when he changed his hairstyle. First he had the mushroom cut, then he had the slick back hair. Moose says, pay the man, hit that button, Big Daddy says. He doesn't got to pay. I was just joking with him. If he wants to, by all means, but he doesn't have to pay. Somebody break out the wall. Is Ben McAdoo on a team? No. Wait, is he? I can't. No, I don't. I can't remember. There were rumors that he might be brought in. I don't think he is, though. I don't think he's on a coaching staff. Tana, come on, man. Can't let people take advantage of you. Sounds like a request from a... Do you think Becton can be an Eric Flowers bust? I mean, I think any player can be a bust. But here's what I say to Giants fans and I completely get why people are scared of taking a tackle because we've had past failures at that position. And we've had past failures at the cornerback with Apple and several other corners we've drafted in the first round, over the course of my lifetime. So I get it, but by that logic, that you're scared to take a tackle because we failed with Flowers, then by that logic, you shouldn't have been in favor of taking Saquon Barkley because we failed with David Wilson, we failed with Ron Dane, we failed with Tyrone Wheatley. By that logic, I mean, you shouldn't be in favor of taking a lot of positions. We've had several failed draft picks at different positions. So, when we took Eli Manning, you shouldn't have been in favor of taking a quarterback because the 3 before him sucked. So, that's my take on that. You can't be scared to take a tackle because others have failed in recent history. Sometimes you just got to pick the right player. Oh, he's on the Jags. Yeah, I thought he is on the Jags. Okay, yeah, because I thought I remembered him, a team being latched to him. That's right, it was the Jags. My next live is going to be Saturday. My next live will be Saturday. I'm going to do another one of these Q&As Saturday. I'm going to be live on Bad Dog's channel either tomorrow or Friday. I'm not sure which day it's going to be. But Saturday I'll be doing this again. And then Monday I'll be doing the mock draft again. And then probably Wednesday this. And then the Giant Show will be back here like Friday. So I'll be live a lot. I'll be live a lot for you guys. Gettleman has got to go. This is inexcusable. He didn't even draft yet, man. He didn't even draft yet. Hey, what's up, TD, man? I appreciate you for popping. Oh, JG's, man. Thanks so much for the love, man. $5 donation. He says, McAdoo went 11-5 in his first season. He's going into the Ring of Honor with Parcells, LT, and Strahan. JG's, based on recent history, I would agree with you. I would agree with you. That 11-5 season seems as if it was an undefeated season based on since we won our last Super Bowl. As sad as that sounds. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Do you think any lineman in this draft has as much talent as Simmons? It's so hard to say. I don't know. I think here's what I'll say. If you listen to any expert, this is supposed to be the best lineman class in a very long time. We're talking like 8, 9, 10 years. So that tells me that these guys are very talented tackles. I think Isaiah Simmons is a very talented linebacker. I just think that Simmons stands out more for obvious reasons, right? He makes big plays. He's flashy. He does a variety of things. I like both. But I definitely think there's very high-end tackle prospects in this draft. Let's see what we got here. Ben McAdoo will bench Minshew. I don't think people know how a GM does his job. Well, I think with a GM, a lot of people have, and I'm not, in New York especially, I think, and I'm guilty of it too a lot of times. I think we're impatient. I think we want things right now because that's the way New York is in general, not just with sports. It's quick, it's fast. We're hard workers. But with a GM, I think it's, I never get into politics, but I think it's a lot like with the President of the United States. I don't think you could judge a President of the United States a lot of times while he's in office. I think it's like you look at Accorsi. You saw the effect that Accorsi had after he left. When you saw the players that he had brought in evolve and improve, and all the rookies that he brought in, like Eli Manning, and they got better over time. I think it could be the same thing with Gettleman. Like I said, if the team gets really good in 3 or 4 years, a lot of the players that Gettleman brought in now may be really good in 3 or 4 years. So that's my take on a GM. Yeah, it's easy to bash the GM after 2 years, but you really can't have a full view on how he did until you have a chance to really evaluate the players he drafted. Oh, David Biago, thank you so much, man, for the $5 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, collab with Andy Reid. Collab with Andy. I could get Andy Reid on the channel. That would not be hard. I would just have to offer him like a lifetime supply of potato chips, and he'd come on the channel. But he says, collab with Andy Reid. Ask if it's true during quarantine when he sits around the house. Does he literally sit around the house? It very well may be the case, Mr. Biago. You might as well stay on the hall. I can't do that. I can't do that, but I'm having fun talking to you guys. My ideal picks are Wills, then go Ruiz, Lloyd. Yeah, the center and the tackle. Tackle and the center, rather. It seems like a lot of people are for that. Takes patience with a GM. Yeah, it takes patience with a GM. Lifetime of well-done steak. No, I don't like the well-done steak. Initial reaction when Eli was I was excited. Hakeem. I mean, I was younger. I was 2004. I was 19, but I was excited. I had gone through years. I had never seen a good quarterback. I was born in 85. I saw the tail end of Sims. I was a little kid. I had never seen a good quarterback with the Giants. So when they traded up to get Eli Manning, obviously the Manning name, he was really talked about. I was very excited when we got Eli Manning. When they traded up to get him in the draft. JG's with the $2 donation. He says, Shermer will be a third ballot for sure. Yeah, Shermer, the third ballot trash can. That's what Pat Shermer will be. And I tried, man. I tried so hard to like Pat Shermer. I tried so hard. I wish it worked out. Seems like a good guy. Not a good coach. Not a good coach. You got Jeffrey Abbott, man. Thanks for being here, buddy. I hope you're being safe out there, and thank you for being a great supporter of the channel. Even though we don't always see eye to eye, I encourage that. I love when people don't agree with me. As long as they're respectful. I like to get different viewpoints, and I like to give you guys a different. I say it all the time. People, I say it all the time to people. I'm like, if you agreed with everything I said, why would you tune in? What's the point in tuning into a channel if you agree with everything I have to say? Don't you come to a channel or listen to somebody to get a different vantage point and maybe say, oh, I never thought of it that way. So I appreciate everybody who disagrees with me as long as they do it in a respectful way. Damian Mighty, man, thanks so much for the $2 donations. How would you feel about Dave Gettleman if he doesn't trade down? I mean, he's got to hit on the pick. He's got to hit on the pick. If he hits on, I'm not, obviously I want him to trade down, but it's got to be the right trade. You know what I'm saying? I want him to trade down, but it's got to be the right trade. And I'm not gonna go crazy if he doesn't trade down, but I'm gonna go crazy if he doesn't pick a tackle. The only way I'm going crazy on draft night if he stays at 4 and doesn't take a tackle or Isaiah Simmons, then I'm gonna be upset. Obviously I want to trade down, but we don't know if the right deal is gonna present itself. You could hear rumors. We heard rumors with Saquon Barkley being, with the trades, but you never know for sure. Oh, Jeffrey, man, you didn't have to do that, man. Thank you so much, though, man, for the love, man. I really appreciate that. He says, appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, too, man. Thank you very much, man. Thank you for tuning in to all my videos, always showing love. You need the tango. Yeah, you need the tango to trade down, man. You don't know. And Lloyd, I don't know if you just popped in. I'll talk to you in the Discord. I think you're in my Discord. Or if not, I'll just go into the comments. But Friday, if you're free, I want to see if you come on the channel Friday to do the weekly subscriber interview. I'd love to have you on. It'd be cool to get a different perspective, being that you're an older Giants fan. You could talk more about the LT days, things like that. So we'd love to have you on. All right, awesome, man. Looking forward to it, buddy. How could we get Isaiah Simmons and an offensive tackle in the first round? The only way you get Isaiah Simmons and an offensive tackle in the first round, you got to take Simmons at 4 or 6, and you got to trade up to the back end of the first round and take a top-tier tackle. You'd have to hope a guy like Andrew Thomas, Mekhi Becton slips through the cracks so like 22, 23, you move up and you get him. I think that's the only way it can happen. Oh, man, Andrew Christopher, man, thanks so much for love, man. I really appreciate it. Andrew Christopher is infamous for saying hi. He says hi on all my videos. He says hi on Twitter all the time. So hi right back at you, Andrew Christopher, man. Thank you for all the love you show my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate that. And Giant Steps with the $5 donation. He says, would you trade back into the late first for Ruiz? Who's a good partner and what would it take? I personally would not. And I like Ruiz, but I think you could still get a good center in the second round. Whether, like Cushenberry, or even wait till the third. I don't think it's worth trading up. And I think center's a huge need, but I don't want to trade up to get a center. But I would trade up for a tackle. And I would trade up possibly for an elite defensive player that drops. Caleb Von Chason, something like that. And certain targets, I said the Saints. I think the Saints make a lot of sense being at 24, being that they kind of have a complete roster. The Saints don't have a lot of holes, so they're kind of in a position where I feel like they could trade down. The 49ers at 31, that's a perfect spot because the Niners don't have a lot of draft picks outside of the first round. They may be looking to fill in more holes there in the second and the third round. I think those are two candidates that the Giants could try to trade up with, whether it be 31-24. That's off the top of my head. And the Patriots are always willing to trade down. Obviously, Joe Judge has a relationship there at 23. So those are some potential targets. Good morning to you, Tony. I can't believe I'm still alive, but good morning to you, Tony. Hope everybody's being safe out there. Is Freddie Kitchens a psycho? Freddie Kitchens is a bad head coach. Should have never gotten the job, but Freddie Kitchens has success in the role that he's in. I think he was the tight ends coach for the Arizona Cardinals. He was a tight ends coach at another location. I can't remember, but he's done well in that role. So I think Kitchens could be successful here. Would you ring my bell? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know if I'd ring your bell. Hi to you, Diego. Thanks for popping in the stream. No, can't go to 12:30. I got to get some rest. I got to get some rest. Linebacker is huge need for the Giants. Linebacker's been a huge need for the Giants since 1984. Well, no, since Antonio Pierce. I shouldn't say that. With the 4 picks in the 2020 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Nathan Peterman. God almighty, don't say that. Can't wait for the draft. Going to make sure I tune in to take. I can't wait either, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you, man. We have a great coaching staff now. A night and day. Yeah, night and day. Night and day. It's a much. Here's what I'll say about the Giants fan base. I think we're much more optimistic than we were going into last year, or even the year before that. I think it's a young, enthusiastic, encouraging coaching staff for sure. Is it 11:40? Yeah, I went way too long, Mr. Mini Guy. I just talked to you guys and I just keep going. We're gonna close this out, but I just want to say thank you to all you guys that tuned into the live stream, all my live streams, that watch all my videos, that show me a lot of love on my channel. I'll try to have a couple of videos up tomorrow. Definitely gonna have at least one, probably, hopefully two, if not three. And I'll either be live tomorrow or the day after on Bad Dogs. I'm not sure, but one of the next 2 days I'll be live on Bad Dogs, so that should be a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody for being here. Thank you to guys for showing so much love and support on the channel. I hope everybody is staying safe out there. Keep wearing your gloves, keep washing your hands, and stay inside. And, as always, cheers. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it.